Thank you, gentlemen and guns. Coming.
I don't mind at all. Yeah, well, the whole thing's open, so whatever you want.
Oh,
feel free.
sweet. Thank you.
I got really good whiskey.
Oh, wow.
Love me some whiskey. Oh, shit. Very nice. Wow.
That's a real
I got
spread.
Jameson inside. You like Jameson?
I do. Thank you. Sounds lovely.
See, that just looks like water.
This is water. Yeah.
Oh.
The water, what is it? The tonic one or something?
Oh, that was ridiculous. That could not have been more virginal, what I just said.
It just looks like water.
That's just water. Oh my god. I should be in elementary school. Oh god.
Cool.
His late show framed thing is so good. It makes me feel like, because I framed one of my Conan ones. I framed that's our
cool.
Taylor Tomlinson, that's our show.
That's great.
Because the one with where I was gonna be and the podcast, it was a lot of stuff,
Yeah,
so it was
I
kind of
remember.
all squished. So I just put the one up.
I love that. That's super cool.
There you go.
Thank
That's
you
really
so
good.
much. Appreciate it.
Let's see if I can make myself a cocktail.
I'll use one of these guys.
Are you still drunk, woman? The pool looks really good.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
really
great.
nice. I thought your La Jolla promo was very funny. The pool boy promo you did, where you fucked it up a couple times, we just kept it. I thought that was.
It's because I didn't find that. Oh. I found that I didn't find the promo itself funny, so I was like, the only funny thing is that I'm not funny.
How was La Jolla?
It was great.
Yeah, super fun.
Have you guys been down there?
Yeah.
I just did
those.
Yep.
Oh,
All right,
okay.
let's talk into the mics.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll share this with everybody.
I just did La Jolla with Jeff Dye I want to say a month or two ago. It was so fun.
Eye candy. He really is gorgeous.
Yeah, he just did
He's
our
a
live
beautiful
podcast.
man.
Yeah, I saw
He's
that.
unreasonably
Thank
beautiful.
you.
We're like, how did that even happen?
Yeah.
All on one face.
Oh, it's great. Thank you so much.
Do you mind passing me that mineral water? Thank
Here.
you.
Yeah,
I need a little bit
it's
more.
gross how attractive he is.
I know,
He
he's
really
so
is.
pretty, it
Grosses
makes
me
me
out.
mad that we're kicking the podcast off by talking about how attractive he is. I'm like, he doesn't need it.
It's
He
gross.
really doesn't. I think he gets a bad rap because he was just regular when he first started, but he was so good looking. I think people took him as aloof. Like he wasn't different than anyone else. He was just regular. But he was just like, I don't know your fucking name. I'm sorry, I don't know.
Right.
I'm not saying that he didn't know who Jeff Ross was, but he was like, I don't know who you are. I'm so sorry.
I see.
Yeah,
I'm just really good looking, and I'm just sitting in the hallway.
I'm just
saying
handsome
stuff
and
up
bad
here.
with names.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. But he's got a great job. You know his job he does on NBC.
Oh yeah, that show.
Oh, that show,
amazing.
right? Where he
Better
just
late
travels
than
the
never.
world with the famous dudes and just hangs out.
Yeah.
There has to be some #MeToos on that set.
Oh god.
Oh my God.
Who's on the show?
Terry Bradshaw, just guys who.
Like George Foreman and
George-
Harry Winkler.
Oh
and,
yeah, Harry Winkler's
Right?
on there.
Yeah, Henry Winkler's not a Me Tooer, but and I don't think the other guys are. But I'm just saying that generation is not. I don't think
Yeah.
they'd be aware. That's we were talking about it today in a car. I was like, it's the things that you're not aware of. Like I was saying to my wife, I think it's safe to say this now, but we were talking about Louis, and I was like, the day it happened, and I was like, yeah, but they said okay. They said that he could do it, and my wife's like, yeah, but you got to realize that there is a power difference. So she's like, what would you say if Brock Lesnar was in a hotel room with you and he drew the blinds? He was like, do you mind if I jack off in front of you?
Yeah.
You'd be like, I guess this is happening. I guess you're gonna be jacking off in front of me.
And when the person's a comedian specifically, part of you's like, okay, and then they really do it, and you're like,
They're
oh,
like, oh,
shit.
But did they
Yeah.
say okay?
Yeah, they all said okay.
Are you talking about in Aspen?
Yeah, the Aspen girls said yeah,
Okay.
but they said okay, okay.
Okay.
Like, as
And the
a
other
they
girl
thought
said
it was a
okay,
joke.
and the one girl that said no reported him, did the right thing. Rebecca Corey. Do
Right.
you guys know Rebecca Corey?
No.
Not personally.
I do.
Just of her.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I would just if I say no, does that mean I'd lose my job, or am I ruffling feathers? Or
It's the whole point.
You
Is
know,
you're
it's a
just
weird
not supposed to
position.
say. You're not supposed to say, hey, can I jack off in front of you?
right.
Yeah, that's not.
It's just how do you answer
And also
that?
the social etiquette of you can't read a situation, and even if you think a girl and you are maybe like, oh, she seems maybe kind of into me, it doesn't go from that to, hey, can I jerk off in front of you? It's like, hey, maybe you try to, like, what am I, in the 50s, you elbow her. Why would I say that? But just like
punch her in the mouth. I don't know, ask her for dinner.
Yeah, but you're like,
hey, want to get something to eat?
I don't even think Kelsey was saying that. Kelsey was just, come up with a line or something. Just like, is that a box of Tic Tacs, or am I just happy to see you? Like, Kelsey was trying to come up with something.
Don't just like get your dick out and start jerking it. Like,
be
that's
more elegant about
that's
it.
0 to 100. That's
Or
too
like,
much.
hey, are you into me? Yeah. Mind if I whip my dick out? Sure. I don't know. Like, maybe.
Even that's a little.
Yeah.
That's too far.
Start with taking your dick out. Start with taking your
Too far.
Don't start with take your dick out and jack it off. Like, just take the dick out first.
And let's like a Tinder date, and like, hey, if this goes well, we probably fucking at the end, Then, hey, would you mind if I take my penis out? I would prefer you to wait. I'd prefer you to wait about 20 more minutes until I finish my dessert or something. Like, that's fine.
Would you mind if I air out my member? Throw on an accent. Class it up.
That would be great if Lou was like, I said it with an accent.
Yeah. It was with a British accent, so.
By the way, he's going to be back in a big way. You know that, right?
3 years.
Is he going to make a joke of it? Like, it's going to be a whole special or show or what?
You don't think it'll be
faster?
No.
I've been saying 3, and everybody's like, that's too soon. I'm
Oh,
like,
no.
No, I feel like there'll be so much shit after that, right?
First of all, he did the thing is America doesn't like hypocrites. That's what we really don't like. That's when you get punished forever, is when you're a hypocrite. Like, that's why Matt Lauer won't have a comeback, is because he pretended to be one thing and he wasn't that thing ever. And so he pulled the wool over our eyes.
Yeah.
Keep over our
He also
eyes.
had a rate button. Like, that's it's hard to swallow that somebody installed a button into their desk. Like, that's so extreme.
Yeah.
It's so awful.
That's really. I would love one. I would love a button
I love
to
that you're
lock
like,
my door.
oh, it's gross.
No.
Kind of smart though.
I love things like that. Like, I love technology.
Yeah.
Oh
like,
my
I wouldn't mind.
You want a button. You don't want a rape button.
I wouldn't mind like a button that shut blinds down on my doors and lock them, but I wouldn't want to lock someone in.
Yeah.
Like, that's
you
creepy.
just want like Jetsons shit. That's
Yeah.
Totally
Like,
fine.
I can see myself getting into going, I didn't know it was called a rape button. Like, I just like privacy. I like to lock my door.
You need a sensor on it, so if there's another person in the room with you, it doesn't do it. It's only when you're alone.
Yeah,
It's
right.
all right. This is
Fine.
alone time.
Yeah. I like that.
My big thing, I would love something that, like, I just realized in all the Ubers I take that they've recorded all of them.
What?
They record every Uber you take. If you take a nice Uber, if you take like an Uber XL,
Record it like.
They record
we
all
don't
of
know
it.
anything about that.
There's video.
Like
there's
a video?
of every Uber you're in.
What?
Yeah.
That's weird.
But only the nice ones?
Yeah, like if you take like if like a dude Ubers you in his like Corolla, he's not recording it.
Okay.
Right.
He may, but he's probably not. But like anyone in like a town car, they've recorded it.
Wow. Is that just like
On
they
their
have
phone?
footage of you if you try to like
They have-
hijack them or something?
It's footage for it's insurance purposes.
Oh wow.
So I said to the guy the other day, we're bullshit about race. We're having a candid conversation about race. I'm not saying anything bad, but I realize in the middle of the conversation that he is guarding himself. That what he's saying is like baiting me almost. And I was like, ooh. And then I was like, hey, do you have a camera in here? And he was like, I do. Ooh. I go, are you recording this?
What the?
He's like, I am. And I was like, oh my God. And then I was like, how many fucking Ubers? I mean, I'm not really. I said this to Leanne. I said this in the intro to like a podcast a few weeks ago. Stanhope and I got really fucking hammered, and we talked shit about a lot of comics, but we didn't talk anything bad because I know because I don't have a bad heart. Like, I don't like.
Right.
I would know. Like, if you have a bad heart and you get drunk and then you say shit about people, then that's when you have to worry.
Yeah.
But I think I've been on camera so much. I started putting on mics like 18 years ago. That was the first time I put a mic on.
Oh, wow.
And I've had mics on for the majority of my adult life.
So you're more aware.
So I'm very aware of what I'm saying to people. And I'm almost aware of being recorded all the time.
That's so weird.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
But
I didn't know they did that.
in the car today, we're driving, and my 3 buddies don't realize that everything's recorded, and they're just they're saying shit that would get them fired.
Oh my god! Like about what?
I mean, you don't have to say specifics, but
We were talking about I think every guy right now is talking about the Me Too hashtag.
Right.
Yeah.
Every guy is like trying to figure his way around the Me Too, like going like wait, what? Like just out of curiosity, you know. I have a buddy who.
Oh, they're doing that thing. Like, am I? Gonna,
Asking for a friend.
Did I rape somebody?
No, not did I rape somebody, but like I think primarily it's mostly, I think it's been good. It's allowing. I think it's been good. I don't know. I thought it was a little bit like a witch hunt at first, because here's the thing: women, and I know no one will ever agree with this, but women do lie about getting raped. It definitely happens, and it happens probably more than I think people will ever admit. Obviously, the Duke lacrosse girl, the girl that was in Rolling Stone, those are Lena Dunham. These are women that have totally lied about it. So, but with the Me Too, it's been like, believe all women. And then even Lena Dunham came out and was like, well, but women lie. And you're like, the fuck? Like pick a side. So I think a lot of guys are really confused and just shut their mouths and don't say a word. They're just like, what am I like? But I think it's good. I think it's really good that the conversation started because
most of these dudes real witches.
Yeah.
They have they're
like the cases that have happened where it came forward that the woman was lying about being raped. Those are such a tiny minority, I feel like, compared to the actual
the massive, overwhelming amount that have been coming forward.
Yes,
you're like, yeah, totally. But it does happen. You can't that's one of the things that drove me nuts is like you can't just say believe all women. Yeah, I get it.
Right.
Believe the majority of them, definitely. Right. Like probably you could. That's almost like saying all terrorists are Muslim. Like that's probably, but you do get your Chris McVeighs. Like you do get your white terrorists. Like you can't just say you cannot broad stroke anything.
People lie about everything.
People are going to lie. I used to say there's got to be the exact same amount of fucking narcissistic psychos who rape in males. That has to have an equal shared number of narcissistic psycho women. Like men and women aren't totally different, that there has to be a shared number. You know what I mean? Like fucked up people are male and female. You can't just say all fucked up people are male.
Oh yeah.
No, of course.
And so that's what I think has happened. And so a lot of guys right now, privately, this is the other thing that's kind of sucks, is guys aren't talking to women at all. But privately, guys are like, I think it's cornered men a little bit. I think a lot of men are like I don't even want to work with women. They're walking
on eggshells.
People are saying that to me at shows. They're like, I would hug you, but I don't want you to blog about it.
Yeah, they're asking
like, just
permission.
handshake, and I'm like,
they're asking permission. Like, is it okay? Is this all right? I'm like, yeah, dude, I've known you for 10 years.
Yeah,
if
well,
I'm initiating the hug,
but you got to understand that, like, I'll give you a very perfect example.
Yeah.
I have never. You've worked with me a bunch. I don't think I'm ever sexually inappropriate ever. I don't think I would never put you in the position to be like, but like I'm very monoscopic. Like I'm married. I love my wife.
You're very safe.
Yeah, I don't hit on chicks. I do meet and greets. I do them shirtless, obviously, but like
who doesn't, Bert?
The most you've ever done with me on the road is like try to get me laid by someone in the audience.
Yeah.
You've never. You've just been like, who wants to bang Taylor?
Right.
Yeah.
So, but like, even, and I probably get sexually assaulted, probably 15 to 20 times a weekend.
Oh, like, women are aggressive on the road with male performers.
Oh yeah, more male.
Grabbing your dick and stuff?
Biting my nipples.
What? Oh my God.
Yeah, grabbing my dick.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you name it. In DC, these 3 girls. Yeah. Anyway, so but it happens, and I'm not threatened by it because I'm the power structure is different. Right. So I don't really like. I'm just like, I get it, whatever.
Yeah.
You're not like this girl's gonna overpower me.
Right? You can physically defend yourself, which is where like we can't.
That's
most
a
of the
huge
time.
difference,
So it's like, oh God, you're in this weird position where like, if I say no, will they hurt me or attack me or?
Yeah, and same with like the Louis hotel room situation. If you are in a hotel room with a guy and he is in front of the door, and he wants to do something, I think there's a level of just self-preservation and survival instincts that kick in. That's like, okay, do I just go with this to not make this turn violent or whatever? You know what I mean? It's like
100%.
It's so awful. Yeah.
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
But what I was saying was like, even me, I realized this past weekend is like, I put my arms around people when I take pictures, and I don't do this to men, but to women, like at the end here, like give me your hand so I can touch something. But like I say my hand's on you, that's your shoulder.
Yeah.
At the end I go, thanks, and I just like a little rub pat.
Oh.
And I always do that, like, hey, thanks a lot.
Yeah.
I don't think it's sexual at all. But then this week I was like, I'm stopping doing that.
That didn't feel sexual to
Right.
me
I'm going to
at
stop
all.
doing that because I don't want anyone to misunderstand. Like, I don't want anyone to think that's a grope or anything.
Right.
And by the way, it's on their shoulder. It's not on their hip. It's not on their.
Right.
It's on their shoulder. My hands are always above board. But
Right.
like, even then, I was like, fuck that. I don't want anyone ever having questions about me.
Yeah.
So I think it is.
Right.
It is kind of cornering men in a weird way, where they're like, but like in the car, these guys were like, they're just like, I don't fucking know. I mean, it's
wow.
made, especially guys my age. Because I grew up in a different world than you guys live in. Like, I don't have Tinder. I never swiped right on somebody.
right.
I never let someone know I was sexually interested in them before I met them.
Oh, it's bizarre.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I never.
Yeah, it's a whole weird thing. I've also never been on Tinder, so I'm like in the generation, but not really part of it because I started dating my boyfriend before all that came out. So
Yeah.
I've been
Yeah.
on all the things.
I know.
So
I've never done it either. You have.
got a lot of experience with the online stuff.
Yeah.
And like, Tinder is like, hey, basically you want to meet up and if we like each other, we'll hook up. Or like, okay, Cupid's a little bit more like, let's get to know each other. You know, maybe a relationship will come from it. But yeah, like Grindr, all that shit is just like straight up fucking.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
mash and meat.
hey, if you're not grossed out by me, let's do this.
Yeah.
Are you bummed you missed it, or are you like, that would have stressed?
I would have loved that. Hey, will you pass me some of that ice?
Yeah, of course.
In that class, I would have loved. I would have fucked my life up. I'm really happy. Thank you. I'm really happy, and I'm very lucky.
Yeah.
And I have a really great life. I have a really like I found someone that I want to spend my life with.
Yeah.
Had I known when I met her, and she had been like, because we had like a hiccup, and she dumped me like 4 months in.
Right.
Had I known at that place where I was like, I could have just opened an app and seen if I could get someone as hot or hotter, I wouldn't have fought to get her back.
If it had been easier.
Interesting.
It would have been so easy.
Yeah.
Right.
Like just to go, oh, she likes me, I'll fuck her. Like,
Right.
I don't know if I would have ever got married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you were doing stand-up at that time,
Yeah.
right? So, I mean, if you're a stand-up comic and you're a dude and you're funny, I feel like you don't really need a dating app because you go on stage, you do really well. There's going to be a girl that's interested in you.
But like, I don't know. It's
That's
never
that quick.
I was with Edwin in La Jolla this last weekend, and this girl, Emily, who I went to college with, we were talking about the same conversation. I think this conversation is happening everywhere right now, which is really great. But she was like, how come you never hit on me? And I was like, I don't know. It's just not my thing. Like, I don't know. It's never been my thing. So like, even
How did you hit on
initiate?
Leanne?
Yeah.
Like, how did that?
I liked her. I found her interesting.
Yeah.
Like I like.
Oh, she meant like, why did you never try to have sex with me?
Yeah, this girl
okay.
Emily, and I was like, because she's beautiful, and I was like, I don't know. I thought we were friends. Like, I don't know. I'm also really, really picky, so like, I can find flaws in someone very, very quickly. And I don't. I can get depressed really easily. Like, so like if I hooked up with someone and spent the night with them and woke up the next morning, I would find the thing that I didn't want in my life very quickly. And I would be like, I do not want that
It's like
smell.
a Terminator, like scanning.
Scanning for flaws.
Yeah.
Oh, I was like, I don't like the way she smells. Like, her house smells like bologna.
Wow.
I'm out. Yeah.
That's so interesting.
I've actually dumped somebody because they smelled like sausage. So I get it.
I mean,
like you're all about
that's
that.
understandable.
It's weird.
Smell is important. I feel like I can get over a lot of things before I can get over someone smelling weird.
Yeah.
Well, that's the whole chemical pheromone thing is
Yeah.
that we can naturally, like that primal thing that if somebody's smell is off to you, even if it's not a bad smell, but it's just like, it just doesn't mesh with you, then you're like, no.
Yeah, it's a sign that they're unhealthy. So it's like you don't want to reproduce with somebody who smells bad.
Yeah.
One of those 6. I've only had sex with 6 chicks in my life.
I know you have a very low number, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. I think I'm 5.
Really?
Are you 5?
Yeah.
What's up? I'm up there.
Wait. What are you?
So I'm not gonna.
It's a Kobe number. It's the higher Kobe number. 24.
Is it 24?
It's 24.
Oh wow.
Oh, you count?
Oh, I sat down and counted when I started dating like my now boyfriend of a year and a half. I'm like, I just want to know what number
Did he
you
ever
are.
ask you?
He never asked, but like we just kind of got on that, and like I'm very open about that stuff. And it's funny because his is like 8 and mine's 24. We're like both Kobe's.
We're both Kobe's.
His is 8.
Really in a sexual sense.
I love your
Somebody you wanna
boyfriend.
be.
I love your boyfriend. Leanne's is higher than mine.
Really?
Oh yeah. But I was like, how many people have you slept with? And then she was like, oh. And I was like, never mind. How many black guys? And she was like, none.
That
And I
to
was
me
like,
on stage.
Yeah.
I don't remember where that was. I think it was San Antonio, where you're like,
That's
let's
the
take
one-
bets. Who thinks Taylor slept with a black guy?
Oh my God.
That's because you just want to know like how many giant dicks she's seen.
Yep.
Oh, okay. That's what I figured because like that's.
Yep.
I think my boyfriend asked me that too, and it's like that's one.
That's you slept with a black guy?
Yeah.
Oh really?
I did.
Got a Laugh Factory clip about it.
Yeah. What of it, Bert?
You licked your lips as you said that. Oh my God.
I grew up in a time where that was not like that was like that like, and I grew up in a place where if I didn't know any chicks that fucked black dudes. We didn't.
But they're just not
in Florida.
Like,
I mean, I know that sounds really racist, but like you just did not like you'd be like, what? She's dating a black guy? Like what? It was
why?
Yeah, I know.
That's crazy. You're not even old.
I know.
yeah, I know. That sounds like something from.
No,
Wait,
45. Yeah, that was that. I mean, we knew we had black friends, but they kind of dated black chicks, and like I never knew a guy ever who dated a black chick ever. None of my friends ever dated a black chick. I would never have seen that ever.
Was that just because of the area you lived in?
Yeah, I grew up in Florida, and it was, first of all, it was very segregated. As much as crazy as that sounds, it was extremely segregated. I grew up pretty high white privilege, I would say, Catholic high school. It wasn't like a big deal if you dated like a Cuban chick or a Jewish chick or any of that, but like you just didn't know girls dated black guys and no white guys dated black chicks. It just didn't happen all through college. I never knew one. We didn't have, this is going to sound really horrible. We didn't have a black guy in our fraternity, and then we got this black guy in our fraternity, and we didn't know he was black, and we let him in. And then we found out he was black. I'll say we, because I was part of it. And people were fucking like, holy fuck. Like,
what?
Yeah.
Why?
Because it was just, it was just different. And that's one of the things that's lost in this, a little bit in this conversation is that, you gotta understand, man, this world wasn't what it is today. It just wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It just wasn't. Like, I grew up hearing the N-word a lot. Like a lot.
Just like 25 years ago.
I know. I was
Yeah.
going to say that's so not long ago.
How did you not know he was black?
We also didn't know he was bald. He had a baseball cap on.
How
He
drunk
just-
were
You guys just walked out blindfolded?
How does that? I don't.
They just thought he was like Puerto Rican.
Oh.
Yeah.
But
And
then that was okay.
By the way, no one had a problem with it. Like no one, like some guys definitely had a problem with it, but like they were definitely. Yeah, I wrote about it in my book. My fraternity was definitely, you could call us. I'll say us because I was a part of that group. But you could call our fraternity was probably racist. Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. But hold on. All fraternities.
Yeah,
were
I was gonna say,
racist.
never heard of
Yeah.
a fraternity being racist.
Yeah, yeah. All black fraternities were racist. All white fraternities were racist. All white sororities were racist. Not racist, but they just didn't have. I mean, it sounds crazy that you even say this, but like, you guys just weren't alive then. It was very different. Like,
Yeah.
I'll tell you a story that'll blow your mind. I'm sure I've told you this before. The first time I ever heard the N-word, I was in first grade. Maybe a little younger, and there was this. I had a Duke Junior football, and we used to play football in the streets, and because of that, the laces on the football wore out. So my dad took a shoelace and laced the football. It was a tan shoelace. I don't know why I'm so specific about this. Anyway, one day the football goes missing. Next week, we're all sitting out in our front yard wishing we had a football. My whole neighborhood, a lot of older kids, and a group of black kids come in the neighborhood from a neighborhood across the street or across train tracks, honestly. And they challenge us to a football game, and they have my football. And two brothers, Darren and Derek. Have you heard this story?
I don't think so, no.
Darren and Derek start go, hey, yo, N-word. And by the way, we're kids. That's his football. And this kid's like, you don't call me the N-word. And he's like, oh, yeah. And they start fighting. Darren and Derek's dad come out. I want to say their name was Darren and Derek. Their dad comes out. By the way, there's like a group of black kids and a group of white kids. Puts his hands on my shoulder, on my neck, and starts chanting, fight, fight, N-word and a white. White don't win.
Oh
we all jump in. Fight, fight, N-word and a white. White. And he starts going, chant it. It's your football. You chant it. They're fighting for you.
Oh my God.
First grade. So yeah. So like, let's just do me a favor and realize. Yeah. Remember, I didn't.
I gotta go home and hug my
I didn't.
dad.
Yeah, right.
Like, I didn't swipe right. I didn't.
Right,
I didn't have Twitter. I didn't like. I was talking to Emily too, and she said, "I'm so grateful that I grew up in a time without social media." This Emily,
yeah, it's
like,
toxic.
I remember just going to a bar and going, "Where is everybody?" and then going, I guess I won't see anyone tonight and going home.
Yeah. Just sent your bird out to go.
Like, it was so, it's insane as it sounds. You know, it's like what's happening with the Me Too thing kind of happened with Rodney King. When Rodney King happened, everyone's like, what? And I remember when Rodney King happened, being in Tampa with my buddy Weicho, and dudes were driving around in pickup trucks with rebel flags with N-word sayings all written on the back.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But like, I think that's the thing that's lost in context is like, my freshman year of college is when the phrase no means no came out. Did you ever hear
really?
that?
Yeah.
I remember getting there and they were doing these big campaigns on campus.
I'm kind of surprised it happened that early.
Yeah, they were like, no means no. And all my friends in college were like, all the older guys were like, nah, no doesn't mean no. No means try harder.
Oh man.
That's that Daniel Tosh bit where he's like, it means work on the neck and the nipples, try back in 5 minutes.
Oh man. Well, you know what? That's actually, I feel like by the time I went to college, it had turned into yes means yes. It wasn't like you can't just count on her to say no anymore. If she says nothing, that's as good as no.
Yeah.
When I went to college, they were like, yes is the only way you can do it. A verbal yes. It's like like having sex with a girl is like sitting in the emergency exit row. Like, I need a verbal confirmation that you are gonna do this.
Yeah,
right.
I think that the idea of that, and it never really affected me because I always dated chicks, but like the idea of that is terrifying that you would, because like now it means that, you know, if a girl's drunk, she can't give consent.
It's a no, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So that's like, I just go like, I mean, I definitely raped Leanne when I met her because she was drunk, I was drunk, so that was a rape. With that,
I know that's when it gets
like
tricky. We're like, do our drunks cancel each other out?
Yeah, I don't know.
Right.
Like it's gotten so confusing. But for the better, I think, is that if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, trust me when I say, if you went into a time machine and just went back to 1986, you'd be fucking appalled. What year were you born?
89.
Yeah. You'd be fucking appalled.
You just laughed at the year you were born. 89. Give me a break.
89. I was in high school.
Yeah.
I was in high school.
Well, she's born in the 90s.
Yeah.
She's younger than me.
90s kid, right?
You were 93?
93. You're about my dad's age. My dad's a few years older than you.
Oh, I had the best week of stand-up this week.
Did you?
I wish you had been with me because you would have been like,
I had
you're
the best
writing a
week of
lot.
stand week too.
Where
I
were
was
you?
at Comedy Works in Denver.
Really?
Yeah. I was at South. It was really fun.
Holy shit, just you?
Yeah.
Headlining?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Big shit, right?
What happened? Shut up.
Team's really good is what happened. I think the Conan thing helped and stuff.
Really?
So yeah, and I'm sure Yeah,
You do
but
press?
I did. We only did one radio show because they were like a bunch of them are closed for the holidays already.
Yeah.
So I only had to do one. It was amazing. It was so fun the whole weekend. I was
Who
like,
did you work with?
like all these local comics,
Yeah.
different ones every night.
Did you give them advice?
No, God, no.
Oh, gross.
Not at all.
Did you tip them out?
The local comics?
Did you go?
I got a couple weird comments. Why are you laughing?
I just think it's so cool that you're headlining now.
It's one of those things where like, I feel very like, I have a lot of like imposter syndrome. I'm just like trying to be worthy of all the opportunities I get. Cause like this week next week I'm at Helium in St. Louis, and then I'm at Hilarities, and then I'm in Utah, and it just like happened very quick, and it's like
You're at Hilarities?
yeah. After
Ooh, that's a great fucking
is it?
room.
Oh, awesome.
It won't be for you, but it's great. It won't like you won't get the full Hilarities experience.
Yeah.
You'll get the fun one. You'll get the comic one that every comic should have.
Yeah.
But I got the one where you go in, you sell out 7 shows
Oh,
or
yeah,
whatever.
no, I'm
and
nowhere
it's
near
fucking
that.
packed to the gills.
Yeah.
And that when that room's like that.
We can't compare experiences at all.
But you get to have the fun comic one. Like I'm jealous because I feel like this is a time machine podcast of me telling you what a different world it used to be. But like
Old men, when I was a child.
I was explaining to someone, I was explaining to the audience this weekend how white guys have it so much easier than women and black guys. All women and then black guys. Not really Mexicans as much, but black guys definitely. Because
Just made me laugh the way you said that. You're like, Mexicans are fine.
yeah, well, no,
They don't struggle. They're fine.
no, yeah, but they don't. Oddly enough, I mean, everyone has their own struggle, but the reason being is that as a white guy, they can put my picture up on a comedy club, and people will walk by it and just go,
yeah.
I'll go see that.
They use I did a one-nighter at the Irvine Improv, and they put up like my senior photo that I don't know why clubs still use it
How are they
sometimes.
getting
But it's just
access to
me
that?
like just the most. You think I have a baby face now? When I
Right.
was
Oh,
17, just like hello.
Where is that
her,
picture that
Kane,
people
her
can-
boyfriend, he hosted for me, and he was like, "It looks like you have your own line of Bibles coming out." I'm like, if someone walked by this and had they'd be like, "Why is a child here?" Like,
Yeah.
makes no sense. Yeah, but as like a white,
it's hard for a woman because a lot of guys see a woman on the thing and go, I don't want to
Right.
hear that shit.
Right.
And then all white people see a black person and go, nah, that's not our night.
Oh, I don't think that's true. Do you think
That's
so?
Oh, I'd hope not.
100. You're not a comedy consumer. It's 100% true.
They probably just think, oh, that's going to be black comedy.
Yeah.
We won't understand it. That
No,
kind of thing. or what?
we'll go and be the one white couple and they'll make fun of us all night.
Oh,
If
interesting.
they don't know them. No, if they see Dave Chappelle, they'll get a ticket. If they see Donnell Rollins, they'll get a ticket. But if they see Red Grant, who they may not be aware of, they're definitely not getting a ticket. I mean, case in point, how many white people do you see at Mo Better Mondays? None.
Yeah.
Like none, but it's great
they don't
comedy.
book me on that show.
Yeah, they don't put so it's very easy to be a white guy in the club circuit, but when it comes to TV,
Yeah,
I would argue
that's
the opposite.
the trade-off.
Yeah,
I would not want to be a white guy trying to make it as a comic right now. I think it seems so much harder.
You are.
I
You're in
mean,
a
the
good
hardest,
place.
yeah,
You
like
know what I mean?
the hardest thing we have to deal with is white guys being like, "Why are you headlining when I am older and I've been doing it longer?" And I'm like, "I don't know, man. I'm sorry.
I do not
I
envy
agree
them.
with you. Yeah,
No, well, first of all, I don't think you're a good example of that. I think
in what way?
because I think you're really, really funny.
Oh, that's very nice. That sounded like I just didn't understand. That
No,
sounded
you're
like
not
I was
a good
fishing.
example of like why I can't imagine there would be a white guy that would watch your act and go, I should be up there.
Oh, maybe not after, but before I get some weirdness.
Oh,
for
I got
sure.
that. I definitely got that.
Oh, because you were young.
Yeah, because I was young. I was
Yeah.
like 30 when I started headline. 32.
You got it at 30?
Yeah.
And people were mad? Oh, man. No
And they were-
wonder I'm getting it.
Because I'd get black guys that were like 40 years old and going, what the fuck? And that's when I
Yeah.
learned the economics of the business of every club owner going, I can't just put a black guy on a poster. No one will come out.
You think that's still true?
No, that's 100% true.
It's crazy. I mean, I feel very ignorant where I'm just like, that was only 25 years ago, and that was okay.
No, dude, I remember Hannibal. I remember Hannibal coming in when he was young. Well, that's different. He was young, but like, but Hannibal's super talented. But like, Yeah, it's like you could be mediocrely talented as a white guy and headline because your picture looks acceptable. Your picture is what they want to purchase.
Yeah.
I think.
It makes sense. I've never thought of that before, but it does make sense because I've met people like that where it's like, or like, yeah, they see a woman. Nah, I don't like female comedy. Or they're just going to talk about her vagina the whole time, you know?
Or the people who still come up. I still get this so frequently. People who come up and don't even realize what they're saying and how it sounds, but they're like, oh my God, you were amazing. And I gotta tell you, like, I hate female comedy.
Yeah.
Like, I really hate female comedy, but you were outstanding. Like, we are fans. Yeah. Where it's like, ugh, like, don't, you know what I mean? Like, what am I supposed to say to that? Like, oh, good. You know, it's just like, no, that's not.
Well, and I can only
funny
imagine
for a woman.
Yeah, comments you get too, being like a really pretty blonde girl, where people are just like, when this bitch came out, because like honestly, if I was a comedy consumer and I didn't do comedy and I didn't know and love you, I would see you come out and I'd be like, all right,
this bitch.
I don't trust her. Really? Yeah, nobody trusts me. Yeah, I come out and they're like, and people tell me that afterward, like exactly what you said. They're like, you came out and we were like, oh my God, this is gonna be so bad. But then you were really funny. I'm like, okay.
Well, that you have the same thing that, like, and not to, this is maybe a wrong analogy, but you have the same thing that like Jesselnick or Tosh has. Is you're good looking, and then they go, what are we gonna hear about here?
Yeah, what are their struggles? Yeah.
I almost kind of liked it because then I'm like, I fucking proved you wrong, bitch. What now? Like, I kind of almost like, oh, they're kind of against me, and then it's like they remember that, like, she proved me wrong, and I feel like that sticks with you longer.
Here's the problem.
You know?
Here's the problem. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm gonna speak out of my ass. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think a lot of people say I don't like female comedy, but what they're saying is I don't like 10-year comics.
I think they're saying is I don't like female comics. What they mean is I don't like Amy Schumer, and that's the only comic I know who's a female. I think that's what
and she's saying. Only like a 10-year comic.
Right.
She hasn't been doing it that long.
Or I think they maybe have only seen a few people.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like what you're saying about like, oh, if it's a black guy, then it's just not going to be, or maybe it was you, or like, oh, well, then it's just not going to be material. Okay. So they associate female comedy with like, oh, I'm just not going to get it because they're only going to talk about their perspective and being a woman. But that's not, you know, I mean, there are some female comics who talk exclusively about that experience, but not all of us for sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
it is sort of an advantage to walk on stage and you're right, have people not expect anything from you. I had people coming up to me after shows this weekend that they were like, wow, we saw so-and-so and you just blew them out of the water. And I was like, well, so-and-so you had expectations of. You had zero expectations of me. All right.
Yeah.
You came in, you didn't know who I was. Maybe you saw me on, you know, Last Comic or Comedy, like maybe you saw me one thing and vaguely recognized me, but like you did not think I was going to be good. So the fact that I was even mildly talented is like amazing to you.
It's so funny you said that because I have been getting compliments similar to that.
Really?
About dude, like they come up and they're like, we love you on the podcast. We love the stuff you do on Instagram. We love you with when you and Segura stuff. We love the machine story, but your stand-up's fucking amazing. And I'm like, oh, I really didn't realize that there is a group of people that are coming to my shows that only know me from podcasts.
That's crazy.
Like that never have seen me do an hour, never seen me work.
Yeah.
And don't know that I've been doing stand up for like 19 years. So when they see me do stand up, this week was the one where it glared because they were like, dude, I've only seen like Tom, Joe, and Joey, and you're amazing. You're as good as them. And I was like, yeah, like, okay, thank you.
right.
Can we tone down the surprise?
Yeah, but I guess they just didn't know that. They just expected. They came out to support me. They didn't expect me to be able to do stand up.
Right.
They didn't expect me to be equipped at this, have a skill set.
Let's go participate in Bert's Make-A-Wish.
Yeah, and they were like, that's all new material. Like, I've never heard anything you've said, and I'm like,
wow.
And you're like, oh, it's almost like I was doing stand up my whole life. I did Travel Channel, and then the podcast thing blew up, and that's where they knew me, is like through Rogan or Joey or Your Mom's House or my podcast or Duncan or Ari, and they've seen all of Tom's material. They've seen all of Joe's material, all of Joey's stuff, and then when they were like, I think they liked me, but they didn't expect me to do stand up also.
Got it.
So I was like, oh yeah, like they've heard me on Sam and Jim, but they've been like, he's fun, but is he good on stage?
Yeah. Does he have like written material?
And so I think that I just caught that same thing of like, I don't think people have any expectations when they come see me. They come to see me.
That's interesting to have no expectations of you and know who you are, though.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's bizarre. That's a really weird space to be in.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people that have just heard the Machine story.
Yeah.
And they're like, that's all we want to hear. We definitely want to hear that. And then if you want to do other stuff, you can do that too.
Right. We'll wait. We'll have some chicken wings while you dick around.
We were saying in the car today, I don't know how, we were talking about Hannibal. Hannibal is technically responsible for the Me Too. # Me Too.
Oh, because of Cosby?
He is entirely responsible for this sexual revolution.
That's when it started.
This respect revolution. Hannibal's entirely responsible. And then I was thinking, because he got arrested last night, I was like,
wait, what now?
He got arrested, yeah.
For what?
For
Just being drunk.
Oh, okay, cool. That would be sad.
Oh God.
No.
Could you imagine?
And trust me, there are probably tons of alt-right people who would love to see Hannibal get arrested for sexual assault.
Really?
You know for a fact that when that really blew up, someone had to say to Hannibal, "You're clean, right? Like you don't have any like,
oh yeah,
you don't have any skin beefs in the past, do you?
Skin beefs,
like for a fact, Hannibal had to run through his Rolodex and be like, all right, hold on, like have I ever had a threesome with 2 guys and a girl, like something that could be, because I almost promise you, Bill Cosby must have been like, when this all started, someone tell me some stuff about this kid. You know?
Oh.
Right?
Oh.
Probably. He's like evil.
He's evil. He's rich as fuck.
Evil, yeah.
He was a entity.
Yeah. Oh, man. That's so nuts to me. Just that it would... This fact that this stuff comes out and then there's so many people who were like, oh, yeah, we know. Like, even... I mean, you told us about the Louis thing before it happened. You were like, yeah, this guy's going down. Like, it was the week before.
Oh, we talked about that, and then I didn't say his name, but then off air I was like, oh, it's Louis.
Yeah.
Really?
Do you have the next one? I just heard somebody told me who they were like, oh, we've heard from a lot of people it's going to be this person next.
I knew the next one is.
Who is it?
I'm not going to say it now.
I want to know who you think. I want to know if we heard the same person. I was surprised. Were you
tell us
surprised?
afterward?
Yeah. Give me a piece of paper. I'll write it down.
Write it down.
Perfect. I was like,
a lot of people have been talking about this one guy.
Oh, I'm curious.
You're like the Me Too
I bet it's
psychic.
the same person.
For real?
Well, I heard it. Yeah, let's see.
Comic or?
Yeah. Fuck. Oh no.
We're playing Hangman.
Yeah. Me Too. Oh yeah.
Oh,
I actually,
no, that's not the one I heard.
The camera's rolling tonight?
Oh yeah, the cameras are rolling.
Did you show the camera?
Oh, shit.
Here, this is the one I heard.
Shit. Hey, will you mark down when that was?
I was like, wow.
Great. We were good when it was down here.
And the winner is
playing the newlywed game here.
This is the one I heard recently.
Oh,
did you hear this
That
one?
would make me so happy.
Are you serious?
Oh, no.
Did I tell you that one?
Really?
No.
Someone told me this, and they
That
said
would
it's
shock
like
me.
bad,
Oh,
like
that would
worse than.
Oh,
That
that
would
makes
shock
that's
me.
the first time I hear about sexual assault, and it
might
makes
not be
my
right.
dick hard.
Oh my God.
Oh God.
I'll have to tell you can hear too afterward about me telling him about mine.
What?
Wait, hold on one second. Start all over.
You knew.
You're talking about the one she held up.
Yes. But I don't know anything about that person doing something.
But you talked
But I
to
had
him?
talked to
Him?
that person about my
happened to
assault,
you?
and they were like horrified.
Oh, wow.
And that's interesting. It's just always interesting.
I didn't even know you met that person.
Oh, I
Yeah.
can't. Yeah, wait. Where did you meet that person?
at the cellar. I was performing one night, and he was there. So.
Was he nice? Was he cool?
Yeah, wonderful.
Okay.
But again, it's like I've never.
Let's stop because
I know.
I will start describing that person, and
I
everyone
know
will go.
It'll be bad. Yeah.
Everyone will be like, I know exactly who Jim
I've only
Norton
heard
is.
from.
No, Jim's safe. Jim's
Jim
dirt.
is safe and
Jim's dirt
wonderful,
is
yeah.
out there. He is not he's not that kind of guy.
Oh yeah,
No.
not a hypocrite.
He's probably
He's
like
not
me.
predatory.
In that, that's the difference. Predatory is the difference.
Yeah, Jim's talked forever about having like sexual, interesting things that he likes. He jokes about it on stage, but he's not a predatory person.
No.
That's not what he
And
gets.
you
Jim,
would
by
know,
the way-
Kelsey's been on the road with him for 3 years. Like he's never.
Jim is. I have to say this only because I brought his name up as a joke. 'Cause I knew you were here, and I knew that he's kind of like one of those. He is one. Him, Rich Voss, and I didn't get this when I first started.
Okay.
are all the sweetest guys alive. Like just the sweetest guys. Like they're not. But when I started, they were such cunts to me. Like Rich Voss, genuinely, and I say this, Bobby Kelly, they are the most caring. Even Bill, like, and Bill's got a rough exterior, the sweetest. Like Bill and I had the most heartfelt conversation for like 30 minutes the other day, and I go, I never saw this in New York out of those guys. Like I never got, like when we were younger, I only got the fucking ball breaking. Patrice, when my Travel Channel show started, he sent me the nicest message, like the nicest text.
No, they're sweethearts. They're like really sweet people.
So what you told that guy about, you had an issue with a comic?
I can't believe you told him about that.
You had an issue with a comic?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and I can't talk about it on here. I can tell you afterwards.
No. But will you ever talk about it in life?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, you don't have to. That's the other thing about me too. If you don't want to talk about it, don't talk about it.
I don't mind telling you, but I just mean you'll understand when I tell you why I wouldn't maybe ever talk about it. Yeah. But it just was it's an unusual thing. But that person was at the table the night that I spoke about it, and
really,
you told more than just that person.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Good for you. I can't believe you didn't tell us that. That's nuts.
I thought I had.
No.
Sorry. When I'm in New York, it's like 10 days go by, and it's just this whole jumble stuff. But yeah. So both of you can talk about it after.
I also felt like when you were like, I had food poisoning the other day. I was like, why didn't you tell us? Like I was. I
don't want to just be like sob storying to you guys constantly in our
I need
text
constant
chain.
updates.
Can I tell you? Sidebar, and once again I won't say names, so we'll just leave it to be for the conversation. There's a female comedian that a bunch of guys have issue with.
Oh, really?
On like a sexual assault level?
Just
or just like a shrill voice.
Just a
assaulting their eardrums
with their bit.
I don't like that she wears blazers on stage. That's our thing.
No,
I've heard of one though, so I'm wondering if it's the same one
that they have issues with. In what way?
Well, they just were like, when all this came down, a bunch of guys were like, "Hey man, this woman's talking pretty loud about guys groping and whatnot, and that's her thing." And they're like, we're not going to say anything. That's her, like, she does stuff like that.
Oh, she does.
Yeah, she'll grab your dick or whatever. Oh, and to married men, and it never happened to me.
Jesus.
But everyone was like, everyone was on the chat thread talking about it, and they were like texting.
Holy balls.
And they're like, I'm not gonna say anything, and everyone's like, I'm not gonna say anything.
I've heard of one who has falsely accused 3 male comics of touching her inappropriately or like full on assaulting her.
Oh,
really?
And I was kind of seeing the comic at the time who was telling me about this girl, and I ended up meeting her because I did a show with her. She was super off. Like there's something not right with her. You know,
the problem is we have created a monetization in the victimhood. Like I'm trying to tread very carefully on this because I don't want to make it sound like I'm saying something negative about coming forward, because that's right. I don't want that. Like
there needs to be a safe space. Like people need to feel like they can come forward.
But the problem is that you're automatically guilty once they come forward.
Well, it's so tough. It's trying to find that balance, like you said, because there have been occasions where people are accused and then it comes out later that the person was lying. But I don't know. I think like
Rose McGowan legit has had a rebirth of a career. She wrote a book about it. She's going to make a lot of money off that book. She has the Rose Army. She'll probably go on speaking tours.
Right.
She'll probably get greenlit to do a movie if she wants to do a movie. Like her career was nowhere.
But wouldn't it be great if everyone who got raped got a movie and a book? Like, wouldn't that be fair?
Yeah. I'm cool with that.
That'd be nice.
I'm cool with that.
Reparations.
By the way, I am totally this whole Me Too thing. I was with Florentine. I was like, dude, I think I was molested. And he was
when? Like as a child, or?
By the way, this is, once again, I don't want to share my story.
Okay, that's fine.
Oh, yeah.
That's fine.
Oh, I think did you tell this on a podcast?
I don't know. Let's change the subject.
I think you already talked about it on the Stanhope one because I just listened to that.
Oh,
And
yeah,
you talked
maybe I
about
did. Maybe I did.
Yo, yeah, it's already out
maybe I did. I
there.
was
You
drunk.
released
I
it.
was wasted. But yeah, but like, I'm glad that you can, like, once again, if you want to come forward, come forward. But if you don't want to come forward, don't fucking come forward. Like,
Yeah.
you shouldn't have to, like, I feel it this way. When I had jokes stolen from me, I've told you.
Yeah.
And there's one person I haven't come forward about that stole a joke, but I've talked shit behind that person's back every
Yeah.
chance I get.
Why not come forward though?
Because there's no benefit for me.
Really?
Much like, not much like, but I will equivalate this to a rape victim. I don't want to deal with it. Like it happened to me.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to deal with it because it's going to be a lot of victim blaming. I told one person, and that person was like, no fucking way. That person doesn't steal. And I was like, I have actual fucking proof.
Right.
And I showed them the proof, and they still told me I was crazy. And that person that I showed it to was a close friend of mine.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Just because they liked that person so much, they didn't want to be wrong about that person.
Yeah, I get
And I
that.
was like,
I get that.
I was like, you know
1000%.
what? Fuck it.
Yeah.
Like,
But you're right. That is very similar to how people feel about coming forward about sexual assault. It's
Right.
like
Yeah.
people
There's no
aren't going
right
to
or
believe
wrong.
me.
Exactly
They like
how
this
I
person.
felt, yeah.
and then
Yeah.
you get stamped like that. Like you get stamped as like,
Yeah,
like,
and you're worried, are people going to be weird around you? You're probably thinking, like, are people going to be weird around me at comedy clubs? Are they going to be like, oh, I can't watch Bert's set because he's going to think,
Yeah.
like think about like, and I don't even want to say, I won't say her name because I don't want to include it in what we're talking about right now. But the woman we know who's a comic who got assaulted by that dude and posted it on Instagram. You know who I'm talking about?
I do because you've talked to me about
Yeah,
it.
you know what I'm talking about?
I think so.
don't.
Anyway.
I think you would know. We'll talk about, yeah.
But like
This whole podcast,
This
I
whole
would have
podcast
a game of
is that-
telephone of like, did I tell you?
Yeah. But wait, what are you going to say about that? Because I don't know if I agree with you.
I don't know. Well, I'm afraid to say what I was going to say because I don't want to be wrong.
Well, no, I mean, you don't have to.
How brave of her.
Okay, good. All right.
Wait, what did you think I was
Oh, I
going to say?
thought you were gonna say something shitty, like, "Well, that's just someone trying to get ahead." I thought,
No.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
But how brave of her to be a younger
I know
comic.
what you're talking about, yeah.
To be a younger comic, to put that out there.
Oh yeah.
And then your name does get recognition. Everyone saw it. Everyone shared it.
Yeah.
Everyone heard that, and that was probably one of the few times. That might be the first time I ever heard of her.
Yeah, she's one of my favorites.
Yeah, and I actually went up to her at the store and was like, "Hey, that was like," and I know you're not allowed to say because as a father of two daughters, but like. But trust me, it does open your eyes a little bit to the female plight a tad bit when you have daughters.
Yeah,
you start seeing
totally.
that guys are fucking aggressive. Because you
Right.
start looking at little boys like, dude, fucking please stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as a father, I went up and I was like, in my head, I was like, I hope my daughters are as brave as you are
yeah.
to do something like that.
yeah.
Like,
So yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
and I was like, I think I got emotional. I was like, because it was like one of the first times. Once again, it's right after Hannibal started this whole fucking thing. It takes a man to start this for you guys, but like,
Oh God. Slip that right by us.
Yeah.
Social justice warriors unite. Get out your rings, ladies. Yeah.
Oh man.
thank God we could start this.
Oh
for you
yeah,
guys.
thank God for you guys.
So
Oh my God. If I had a
What would
dick
we
to
do
help
without
me
you and
hold
your
up my
dicks?
feelings.
yeah. Oh god.
Yeah, she's like one of my favorite.
We should go
comics
kiss
ever.
all your penises right on the mouth.
I'm gonna start
Thanks
whipping
so
my dick
much.
out. Is this okay?
Yeah.
Is this okay?
Whipping my dick
I
out.
carry mine in my purse, so
I'm gonna
watch
post a
out.
picture of my clit. Hashtag me too.
That's right.
Wait, what do you guys? This was the big topic we were talking about today. What do you guys think about Dustin Hoffman?
Oh man.
Ooh, about
So
getting
interesting,
confronted.
the whole John Oliver conversation. Well, that picture that came out where he's just hand on the tit. Like what you thinking?
Hold on. There are pictures of me doing that 100% of women asking me to do that are out there.
Okay.
So like you can't just like I don't know the picture. I think I know the picture. Was he bald in the picture?
Yes, and it was. I think the backstory. I might not be 100% right, but was that he would do it right before the camera.
Okay. Well, yeah.
As like a goof, but like it's still sexual.
I said
it is hysterical when someone rapes you. It is.
Like, it's truly
just from a timing perspective.
I mean, you're lying there like
just right.
God.
I mean, come on.
Did I end up here?
Yeah.
Why so sad? I thought of this weekend. I take probably, you'd be a better judge of this than me. I'm always going to punch numbers up. If I take maybe 500, 400 pictures a night.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, and then and it is a real special kind of dirtbag who gropes someone during a picture. Realize I take this year I've probably taken maybe I'd have to, it would be hard to say. So if you do in a weekend you take 1,000 pictures, would you say? Sure. Say 1,000 pictures. I've maybe taken like 35,000 pictures.
Whoa.
No, 3,000 pictures. 3,000 pictures this year. I haven't groped one person because you have no idea. That is a predator.
Yeah.
That is a predator who gropes. I've not groped one person. Now, I've definitely grabbed girls' tits because they've asked me to. They've been like, can I hold your tits and you hold my tits? Can we do this pose? Can we do that? And I have a lot of pictures of girls grabbing my dick and my tits and kissing me and biting my nipples, licking my nipples, putting their fingers in my belly button, that is rape in my opinion. That makes me so.
My boyfriend will do it to fuck with me, and I get so angry, like legit rage. Where I'm like, do not put your finger.
That's gross.
I would rather have put it in my asshole than in my belly button. I hate it. It makes me so mad.
I had a black guy. Can I tell you the biggest difference that I noticed between men and women? Just in a picture instance, women will always ask before they touch you.
Yeah.
Really?
Men just do it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Men just do it. And it's like I started noticing this. Like I've been really I'm very, my wife will always say I'm very self-correcting. So like when Todd Glass came out and said like, hey, when you call stuff gay and you say the word faggot, it affects gay people.
Yeah.
It's like, I didn't know that. I really didn't know that. Like once again, this is a different world that I grew up in, but I was taught that word when we moved into our new neighborhood when I was 10 years old, and I've been using that word solid my whole life. Until when I started doing Rogan's podcast. Rogan was the first person I met who was like, I'm going to stop saying fag and faggot. And I remember him doing it. And then because he stopped, I was like, yeah, maybe like if he's stopping and he's the ultimate dude, then maybe I should stop. And then Todd Glass came out and I listened to that podcast. I was like, okay. And I stopped saying it. And like, obviously I just said it a couple times, but I mean, like I stopped saying it in my conversation, but like, I'm very self-correcting. I don't mind learning. I don't have a problem with political correctness. I really genuinely don't. If the words I use are making someone have a worse day than they are before they saw me, then I want to change that. Like I made that joke. I made a joke on the podcast. I'm not going to share it again. I made a joke on the podcast that was apparently just racist.
Oh, I know what you're talking about because you were working on it that weekend.
Yeah. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Know.
And then I worked on stage, and I realized that when I said it is simply racist.
Oh my God.
It's just a racist thought.
Oh my God.
There is no art behind it. It is just.
Is there a punchline or is it more of a statement?
It's a statement of my ignorance.
Oh my God.
It was just you kind of being like, don't we all kind of feel a little like right? And everyone's like, no, you're alone up there, man.
Everyone and black people hit me up on Twitter. And we're like, bro, I'm a big fan, but you really let me down. Like, is that what you think of us? And I was like, no, it's just a thought. Like, it's just a thought. And one guy, I got to thank him. I wish I knew who it was. He knows he's listening, or maybe he stopped. But he was like, bro, you know, I'm a fucking person and I'm a big fan of yours. And when I hear you say something like that, it really breaks my heart. And I was like, yeah, but I said it on stage because I was like, listen. And here's the thing about comedy that I'm not saying this to you, I'm saying this to listeners, is that sometimes there is a seed of something where you go, I know that this is funny. I still believe that thought is funny. I still believe that thought has connective tissue that underlies with everyone.
Yeah.
I don't think that I'm the person that will figure it out.
Yeah.
But I do believe in what that thought was, that there is connective tissue.
Right.
I don't, and in order to find it out, you've got to tell it on stage. That's the only way, the only medium. You can't run it by your friends because they'll maybe laugh because they're uncomfortable. You got to tell it to strangers.
Right.
Yeah.
But I told it that one night. I was doing the meet and greet, and this black chick walked past me and just went, and just walked past. And I went, I don't. And this is me. This isn't Bill. This isn't Jim. This isn't Rogan. This isn't Tom. I don't ever want, and this is why I embrace political correctness. I don't ever want anyone to have interacted with me and have their day be worse because of it.
For sure.
So that's my number one thing.
Right.
So that's why I like, if saying the word faggot fucks your day up, I'll stop.
Right.
I'll stop. If saying the word midget fucks your day up, I'll stop. I don't care. I'm not attached to words. And I'm not attached. What I'm attached to is you having a better day. And that's the whole Me Too thing, is like, hey, I don't mind stopping to listen.
Yeah.
As long as I feel like you realize I am listening. Like, that's
and
the problem.
It's, less than 140 characters.
Oh, dude,
that would be
when they bumped up Twitter to like fucking 240.
Oh, yeah, it's a lot.
I was like, dude, I no longer can interact with Twitter.
It's too much.
It is too much.
When you're talking about like finding that connective tissue, when we were in the car driving back from Vegas,
this is a perfect example. Yeah,
I said something to the girls, just like, this is a sincere thought I had. We were talking about having kids or whatever, and Taylor asked me genuinely, she was like, do you think you'd ever adopt? And I was like, adopting is like babysitting forever. And they thought that was so funny, and I didn't think anything of it. And they were both like, you need to tell that on stage. Like, you need to write a bit about that. That's such a funny thought.
You gave it a fair shot.
I gave it a fair shot twice.
Yeah.
Twice.
Oh.
And then I did it like in the middle of a set where I had like built up likability. Like, I had them and just, no, you are a monster.
I'm so sorry because I sent you texts like, dude, that's the funniest thing I've ever heard.
I had like people like rooting for me. These girls.
Oh yeah, I was like, oh, that's fantastic, hilarious. You got to do
And
it.
people looked at me like I was just the worst, most narcissistic person. But to me, I was like, I thought that's a very common thread that people all joke about. Like, like you have kids because you kind of want people around that, like, you can identify with, like, I made this. Like, you have like some hometown pride in what came out of you.
Hometown pride.
But if it's like, if you just get a kid, I don't know. To me, it feels so different. So I thought that more people would connect to that. No, absolutely
man.
not.
Well,
And then, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. This is my belief: is that you know better than they do. You do, and you made your friends laugh, and so I think the onus is on you to try to keep that seed in your head and find the day it slides out.
Oh yeah.
Keep the seed and go, ooh, you know what? And it creeps into one other area. Like, this is not similar, but like, I tried to shoehorn this fucking time. I'm obsessed with time travel, so I tried to shoehorn this fucking time travel bit into my last special. So I tried a million fucking ways.
The one about Isla?
Yeah, and then then one day after, I just go, it doesn't fit. Everyone's like, all anyone heard was that like I would get higher on my kids.
Yeah.
And so I needed, and then I was like, fuck. And then I get done the special, I do it one day in Calgary, and it just destroys. And I go, wait, how did that work? And
right.
then
What happened?
This kid comes up to me. Man, I wish I knew this guy's name. I hope he's listening. He worked with me in Calgary, and he was so talented, and he'd only been doing it, I think, like 6 months.
Oh wow.
And he was so insightful on comedy. And he was like, well, the reason it worked is it had an ending. People knew it was done. So like, your kid's out of trouble. So like, you're done. And I went, I was like, you motherfucker. Like, but yeah, like the onus is on you because, look, I'll be very honest. I couldn't adopt.
Yeah. See,
Like I couldn't.
See, I could totally
too.
adopt.
So what you got to do is you got to find the ground that we
I gotta
share.
find other shitty people.
I thought that was so funny, but it's almost like, have you ever, like, it's kind of similar. You did that joke on a podcast and a bunch of comics laughed. If a comic likes your joke too much, you know it won't work.
The joke was only because I feel like we have shared a lot of stuff that we're not sharing with the audience.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
But the joke was, just to be fair, I will own something horrible that I said.
Okay.
So my buddy married a black chick. And
God, I'm scared for you. You're about to say.
I'm like, my stomach just.
By the way, it's going right where you think it is.
Oh, great. All right.
And I just thought to myself, wow, all day, every day, you're gonna spend all day with a black person, and
What? No,
man.
that's not a shared thought.
No,
Except
but
with,
like,
Trump
but
or
like,
something,
I remember.
but
Yeah, I remember something different.
And I was like, and Big J laughed hysterically, but I was being honest. I was like, you know, there is like, and I was trying to find the connective tissue of like there is such cultural differences. But by the way, in my head, I'm thinking of like the girl you come in, she's
worse.
watching Wendy Williams, and you're like,
Get worse.
and she's like doing her nails, and she's like, let me smell your dick, you know, like.
Oh my God, Bert.
Oh, you're thinking of a stereotype.
But don't Bert me. Don't Bert me like I'm getting fired. I can't get fired from my own podcast. I already said it. I said it was horrible. These guys know me.
It's like, I know. It's just killing
You did it on this podcast.
I
They've
did it on
heard
this
it.
podcast.
Yeah,
They all
yeah.
heard it, and they already complained. They've all complained. And those that didn't hear it are hearing it now like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Look,
We missed that one.
People have
But
already
the
talked
thing
to HR.
is, it stems from an idea that happened a long time ago where my buddy Eddie, I was dating this girl who's Puerto Rican, and my buddy Eddie's Cuban, and he said to me, like, how serious are you guys? And I was like, pretty serious. I was like, I could totally marry her. And he was like, really? I was like, yeah. And he goes, you ready to have a Puerto Rican? I was like, what? And he's like, are you ready to be at baseball practice and be like, which kid's yours? And you go, oh, the Puerto Rican on third. And I'd never seen it like that. I was like, oh, you mean it? He wouldn't look like me, would he? And he was like, no, he's going to be Puerto Rican, Bert. My buddy's Cuban. Yeah. And he was like, his point was, which is, by the way, Eddie, I'm sorry. His point was, I wouldn't marry a Puerto Rican because I don't want my kid to look Puerto Rican. And I was like, pretty sure they look exactly like you because he's Cuban. I was like, what's the big fucking difference?
That's really
interesting.
bizarre. I would never think that.
I know a guy who broke up with his fiance because he didn't want to have Asian children, and he's like, "I'm dating an Asian woman. I could have an Asian son, and I don't want that." And I'm like,
oh my god!
If you're attracted to an Asian woman, why would there be a block in your head of them like not wanting?
Yeah.
Because maybe you don't like Asian dudes.
he couldn't wrap around like having an Asian
Is
son.
it the narcissistic thing of you want them to look more like you?
Maybe.
My wife had a friend who was married to a redhead and said, I don't want to have redheaded children because I don't think I could love a redheaded child.
That's insane.
Oh, my boyfriend's a redhead. What up? Gingers everywhere. I love you.
Also, nobody get mad at the fact that we reacted more to someone rejecting a redhead than any other race. Please don't read into that. This was building. All right, we were equally horrified
We're all
that they
equally
broke up with different races. Okay, we're not just like
What? A redhead?
They have souls, I promise.
still team Caucasian. Like we're not. That's not what we're doing. Everybody, just
Bill
to
Burr's
clarify.
daughter is going to be beautiful.
Oh my gosh!
yeah.
Yes.
Redheaded and black. Oh my God.
Yeah.
She is going to be fucking gorgeous.
Yes. Yeah.
But like when I stole that joke, I never thought like, I know. Yeah. The thing is, there is someone that's part of a little bit of part of this generation is the outrage. Like even when I said that thing about the horrible joke I came up with, the idea that like there's this like what like as opposed to trying to find the thing. And I think with audiences, I feel that is like the younger they get, the more they're like, that wasn't in the syllabus.
It's like playing Operation. Like they're like, like you're like getting too close to the edge, and they're like, we're gonna find something to
Maybe
make
because it's still not too far away that this shit was really a problem. Maybe in like 100 years, everybody could just laugh like, it's obviously a joke.
I mean,
but
the
like,
world will be fucked in 100 years.
Yeah, but like
Inconvenient Truth 3, you won't get there.
right.
You mean when it's run by
Global
Koreans?
warming.
I keep saying in one of my jokes, I have jokes that I tell that I really think are funny that I don't think anyone gets, but I go one in the machine story where I go, my teacher was hot. He worked out a lot. I'm just kidding. It was a chick. She was hot. Still is hot. She lives in Hong Kong. I think that's in China. I don't know, but I don't know. And then I always go, Kim Jong-un will fix that. And everyone's like, huh.
I haven't heard you do that. Is that new?
I always say that because I have so much new stuff from this fucking weekend. I have my new favorite joke. My new favorite joke that I will share on this podcast because I don't think it's going in my hour because it's too much of the same word. Is I said this weekend, and it might be my new favorite joke. So, okay, I'll tell you this way, and this is a great conversation starter. I heard this guy slut shaming, but I have a hard time with slut shaming. Because I come from a male perspective, meaning like I do understand the grassroots of it. I understand where it comes from.
Yeah.
Like I've been there when it started, when the seeds were planted for a girl. I've seen it happen, and it always comes out of like spite. It never comes out. It's always someone got burned, and then they decide to call someone a slut, and then that takes their power away. But I watched this guy, and this is all hashtag me too. This is all because of that. As I'm watching this guy in La Jolla, just slut shame this woman that apparently him and this other guy and this bartender know. And that he dated, and he's just calling her a whore and a slut.
Oh my God.
And I'm watching this bartender is kind of forced to co-sign on it. Like it's a girl, and she's forced to be like, well, yeah, well, you know, like, and she knows the girl too. And I'm like, so I call Leanne and I go, that's kind of fucked up. I go slut's like the N-word for you guys. And Leanne goes, no, cunt is the N-word for us.
Yeah.
She goes, I'd much rather be called a slut than a cunt. And I went, oh,
I don't feel that way.
Yeah, I feel the opposite actually. Yeah.
Oh, Leanne felt the total opposite.
Really?
But here's the joke: as I go, you guys want to see a magic trick? Call, regardless of whether she is one, call your wife a cunt, and she immediately becomes one. I go, it's like the Incredible Hulk. You're like, no, you're a cunt, and you're like, wait for it. Here we go.
Oh dear God, that's
Because Leanne, she would never agree with this, but she totally can be a cunt. Like,
do you think you're more offended by whichever word hits home harder? Because I don't know. Because if somebody called me a slut, I'd be like, no, I'm not. I don't care. But if someone called me a cunt, it might bother me more, actually, just because I might be like, oh, I kind of am, actually.
I agree.
Sometimes.
I have no, like, affiliation with the word slut. Like, that's just
I'm just
not,
like, no. My dad loves me. I got straight A's. Like, I'm good. Like, I'm not.
Yeah.
I've been cunty.
Yeah.
In my life. Sure.
Yeah. I've been slutty, so I could probably.
a slut.
Yeah.
But would that bother you?
You'd rather be called, like, if you heard.
I don't know.
What?
I think, because I've been a little slutty, so if somebody called me a slut, I'd be like, well, I used to be. You know, like, I'm not anymore.
I'm a
but
reformed
I see
slut,
why you might think that, you know?
Yeah.
I get it.
The whole point is nobody's supposed to be a slut at all. But I think that word is more offensive nowadays than cunty.
I'm also just I was just dating. I was just dating like any guy would, but
I know.
I'm a chick, and
that's what's wrong.
You have
going
to refer
through
to our
dudes.
president, Christina Aguilera, who has always been there for us with her panties over her jeans. Remember that revolution? Her coming out? Anybody remember that Lil' Kim song?
Not really.
I wasn't allowed to watch
I'm not
it.
cool, so I don't know.
No.
It's so funny. I was
don't
working
know
on a slut shaming joke this weekend too, and the first night I tried it, it didn't work because I set it up wrong. Because I was setting it up by going, I've realized like my friends sometimes think I'm slut shaming them, and I'm not. I'm just like, I'm not being judgmental. I'm just like worried sometimes when like people's like behavior is unsafe, because I feel like we've kind of overcorrected now. We're so afraid of slut shaming people that we're like, hey, you go girl, like on anything they do. And I've had friends who like, you know, get blackout drunk and go do stuff, and you're just like, oh, like, are you I want to say something, but I don't want to. Yeah, exactly. I don't slut comforting. I just like don't want to, like, you're not a slut, do whatever you want, but also like send me your location, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, there's
the
self-destructive behavior is different.
The problem with, you know, Amber Rose, I guess, is the big slut shaming advocate, and she goes, "There's no such thing as a slut. Girls, do what you want." Well, that's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever fucking heard in my fucking life.
Why?
Because I have a little girl who, we're all talking. We're in London. She falls on a rock, she starts crying, and I can't console her. She's 12 at the time. And I said, I go, Georgia, calm down, baby. She's like, and then she just goes, everyone likes Isla, and I always mess up, Daddy. I always mess up. And I'm like, baby, calm down. I go, listen, everything's going great in your life. We're in London. You're beautiful. You're popular. And she goes, I'm not popular. Immediately says that. She goes, I'm not popular. I go, of course you are. She goes, no, Dad, I'm not. Actually, I'm really not. You need to know that. And I go, what do you mean? She goes, Dad, the popular girls all have had a couple boyfriends. And then, and the real popular girls have had like 10 boyfriends. And I went, oh no, baby. Those are called sluts. Oh, that's what that is. What it is it's women using their sexuality as a currency. Now what that's going to do is it's going to turn on them, because there are boys that feel exactly like you do, that don't feel cool. And I've been there. When I say I've seen the seeds planted of slut, I've seen it happen to girls. I watched girls that were totally cool as shit, that were just cool, who just didn't have good parental figures in their life in high school, sleep around. And I watched guys, I'll say like myself, I never really did it personally, but like guys like myself, meaning like not guys that weren't sleeping around, plant the seeds and go, she rejected me, let's just call her a slut. I go, that's not healthy behavior to use your sexuality as a currency. That's not healthy. And that's where slutdom starts. The girls that sleep around in like 9th grade, that's not healthy. That's not positive. It's not positive, boy or girl. I refuse to co-sign on this world where we go, nah, fuck everything. That's not fucking healthy. And so like, to raise a little girl and go, listen, don't look at them as that's the way to live your life. Don't show your tits so that people like you. Be a person. Like, I mean, I can say this from my point, because I've only had sex with 6 people, but like, I never used my sexuality to get things. And I think Dustin Hoffman wanted his sexuality he needed it to define him. I think he's a slut. I think he's a fucking horrible person. I think as a woman, and I think what part of the movement that I'm probably misspeaking about is like, hey, if you want to have sex with a guy, have sex with a guy, and I won't call you anything. We're grown-ups. But like, if you're fucking 13, don't think that's a shortcut to get something. Does that make sense? I could be wrong about this, by the way.
They're uneducated. They're ignorant regarding, protecting themselves. They don't know, how anything works. I think it's the definition of what's your definition of a slut? Is it somebody who uses sex to get ahead in their career or to get something monetarily?
Yeah,
so you're not talking about like porn stars and strippers or anything, or
just women who sleep with.
I'm talking about people that use their sexuality as a currency.
Okay.
Meaning, I'm not popular, but if I start fucking boys, I'll be popular. I need to teach my daughter
people who use their sexuality to get ahead
status
of
as a currency, as like that's their Bitcoin,
almost like prostitution in a way, but like but I think
status but I think that's technically
career.
Slut shaming, isn't it? That perspective of 100%. Like when you're supposed to be okay with people,
people
like
getting ahead by fucking people.
Yeah, right.
You're supposed to be cool with me fucking all the guys so that I can get the part. You're supposed to be cool with me, like that's the thing that I've never been able to write off on with my with whatever political correctness is like. It's like, no, like I have a lot of really unpopular views. I don't think if you're a boy and you're listening to this, I don't think you should lose your virginity when you're 17. I think you should hold on to it. I think it should be as valuable to you as it is to a woman.
Yeah.
I don't think that because you're a boy, you should try to fuck everything that walks. I think that's a horrible idea. I think you're losing a huge part of what makes love important.
Sure.
Like but also to that same boy, I would say to the same girl, if you want to have sex with someone and you're comfortable with that, please do it. I'm not you. That's your life. I don't have any right to tell you what to do with your life. But I do think that there is this race, and I had it in my childhood, of like at 14, dude, lose your virginity or you're gay.
14?
At 14.
High school for sure, yeah.
At 14, they were like, dude, have you gotten laid yet? and you're like, no, and they're like, dude, what are you gay?
Right.
And you're like,
it was the same pressure for girls too. I mean, that's well, maybe not the same, but like
it was
there
different
was
because we were
pressure.
putting it on you guys.
Right. Well,
I regret so much. If I ever have an apology I'll ever make to anyone vocally, I would like to apologize to Allison Williams. Allison Williams did not have sex with me. She did not. But I pressured her.
this is not the actress.
Yeah, this is a girl from high school. There's an actress named Allison Williams.
No, Brian Williams' daughter. This is what I'm talking about.
Oh, really?
No, I'm joking.
Oh, okay. I was like, what?
No, Allison Williams from Tampa, Florida. She, her name now is Allison Shamblin. I'll say her real name because she never had sex with me. But in freshman year, we had so many conversations about it as if we were adults, and she wasn't ready to have sex.
Freshman year?
Freshman year, she was not ready.
so young.
She was not ready, and so she didn't. I don't think she had sex until she was in college.
Good for you.
And I'm
Allison.
I regret showing her that part of my personality as a freshman of being like, do you think this is something we could do? Do you think this is, and like just trying to heavy hand her into it, like be like, hey, do you think like, because I mean, Jenny and Chris are doing it, and maybe it's something we should do. Like maybe we should try it. And I hate that I was that person because once I lost my virginity, I was like, oh, I don't want to do that again for a while. I want to grow up.
Oh my gosh, that's how I felt.
Huh.
Yeah, I was like, I want to grow up a little bit and then I'll do it.
Wow.
Oh, no, I didn't feel like that,
What if
but
you
I-
want to have sex at 17 and then you enjoy it and you're like, I'm going to keep doing it, and you like, is there like a certain age where you feel like this is wrong versus this is right?
No, I mean, I personally, I'll
It's
tell you.
personal, yeah.
Personally, I'll just say, and this is an old man talking right now. I'm going to need to pour another drink if we're going to have
I know, this is great. No, this is the sincere stuff.
I don't think you should have sex until you're ready to have a kid.
What?
I mean, I think...
What if you don't want to have kids, though? Then you never have sex.
If you could afford to have one?
No.
Fully disagree with that.
I don't
Just putting that out there.
I don't think you should have sex until you are emotionally. No, I'm not saying like financially. I'm saying like until you're like, hey, the outcome could be a baby.
No.
That's me. That's me.
That's very
Because
conservative.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah. Oh, I told you I have some very unpopular views.
That's very interesting.
When I had sex at 17, I realized she could get pregnant. And
How long did you wait till you had sex again?
2 years.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah. I had a girlfriend. Shout out to Jen Bethay. I had a girlfriend that I never had sex with.
Really?
And I would argue, I'd be curious to hear Jen's. I wonder if she's awake. No, she's asleep.
Oh, that would have been amazing.
Let's call up all your old flames.
I wonder if she would have. I would argue. First of all, it definitely would have been statutory rape because I was like 17. I was 18 and she was 16. So that's one of the reasons I didn't do it. But we were dating, and that's back when you could do that. You can't do that anymore, I guess.
Statutory rape.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't think
Or you can get away with it.
It's like back when I was a kid, you could be 18 and date like a 16-year-old. I think she might have been 15.
I lost my virginity to somebody older. I was 17. He was 18. Wasn't that big of a deal, but he could have gotten in trouble technically. But I would have never done that.
Nowadays, you definitely go to jail for that. Like you would definitely, someone
found
definitely
out.
send you to jail.
I think you'd have
But back then, you definitely would. Very often see this. I can't believe that I'm speaking like this. That I'm this old. When I was a kid, seniors dated the freshmen. That was how it worked.
Same in my
Okay.
My dad dated a senior when he was a freshman.
Oh,
Yeah.
look at him.
Look
Really?
at that.
Yeah.
Football player?
He was a football player.
No, the wait.
My dad was a football player.
Oh, I thought the guy was.
No, yeah. My dad was a freshman and his girlfriend was a senior.
Right. Anyway, yeah. So, but I didn't have sex with her, and then I didn't have sex again until I was in college, my freshman year, and I was like, I think I'm emotionally ready for this.
Huh.
Like I definitely wasn't ready to have a kid. Like, I mean, I wasn't ready to have kids, but like, I was like, I want to have sex.
Man, I just felt physically ready. Like, I was like, just get it in me. Like, I was not
How old were
thinking,
you?
like, I was 17, and I was like, I felt I
that
thought
possible?
I was in love with my boyfriend. I felt that, but I was
that's
almost
a
just
pretty
like,
normal
I
age.
just want to bone. Like, I
For real?
wasn't thinking about anything else besides just banging him. I wasn't thinking of like
strong armed this cap onto this bottle.
Did I do that? How old were you? 17?
I was 17.
Yeah.
Yeah. But mine, I feel like, I think mine mostly all of my sexual things stemmed from curiosity more than just a feeling of horniness. It was more like curious about what it would feel like, and also
like the kids from Stranger Things.
Sure.
Like you're just walking through the woods and you're like with a flashlight. You're like, wait, what's that?
What's in there?
What's that? A dick? And also the peer pressure, like you're talking about. That's why I did the whole manicure tool thing that the girls know about. I just told you briefly. It's like that's why I did something so crazy, because you
were allergic to
latex. Yeah, because I was so desperate to know what sex felt like, but I didn't know a guy that I really wanted to actually have sex with, but I was sick of being left out of the conversation with my girlfriends. I wanted to be able to like talk to them and know like, oh yeah, I know what sex feels like. I know what that's like, but
it was like a human experience. I kind of felt similarly. I got to a point where I was just like, well, part of me, I just wanted to write jokes about it. So, I need some material.
Wait, how old were you?
I was older. I was 22.
See, I wouldn't want to wait till 22.
I was religious though. And I have a joke about it. I tried to lose my virginity earlier than that. And my boyfriend at the time kept putting it off because it was so much pressure to like take my virginity at that point, because it was like such a big deal.
I've never taken anyone's virginity.
You've never done it? It's a lot of pressure. When someone finally did, I was like, thank you for taking one for the team, man. This was not fun for you at all.
I feel like so many guys like that. They like taking
because it
people's
hurts.
virginities.
Who?
I feel like if they like
I know
taking your
Japanese
one
businessman?
I know one guy. I know one guy who prefers like inexperienced girls, and I think it
That's
could just be like a
creepy.
confidence issue on his part.
I don't like it.
But like I don't
Yeah.
know. I always thought that was kind of strange.
Does he act like John Candy from Stripes? So anyway, normally when we're done, you make me a sandwich and I'll lay in bed. That's what happens. So I know this is your first time.
I think he's worried about like his own performance, and because they have nothing to
Yes,
compare
set
it
the bar real
to,
low.
it's like, hey, they don't know if this sucks or not.
yeah.
I guess
You know?
that makes sense. The guy that I lost my virginity to was very nice, but he was like, actually, I'm kind of glad I wasn't into that, because that was like, it hurt. Like obviously,
I've never been with a virgin. The closest I ever had is one time when I was a younger comic, I rented a car that had 13 miles on it.
And that's the closest.
I rented a car.
Was the car like, wait, slower, slower.
Oh
slower.
my god.
Oh my god.
Let me rest for a minute.
I was driving to a gig in Virginia, and I got in this. It was a red Cherokee, and I got in, and it had 13 miles, and I was like, "How's that even possible?"
Yeah.
I was like, "How's that like? How's?" And I was like, "I want to take a." But this is before like camera phones, probably, because I didn't take a picture of it, and I just was like, and I remember being like, "This is the closest I'll ever be to a virgin."
Oh man,
That's really funny.
man.
You said that was
I don't
such a
think
big
you're missing
smile on your
anything.
face.
So happy.
Yeah.
I've taken 2 virginities.
Good for
one
you.
on purpose, and one
Well,
I didn't know
she
about
worked in
until
high school.
after.
Yeah.
Yeah, one was like my first boyfriends. We were both virgins, and then one
that's
was
the best.
Yeah, one
that
was
was mine
later
too.
on when it was like, I think that guy was a virgin and he just didn't tell me. And I'm like, oh, that was not good. You know?
Really?
Yeah.
I used to do a joke about how I was like gonna make sure my kids had sex in high school, because if you lose your virginity to a virgin, it's like a nice experience where you're trading virginities. But if you lose it to someone who's already stuck it to a bunch of people, it's like uneven, because one of you is losing your virginity and the other person is having sex with a crying girl, and that's not fun.
Oh, do you cry during that?
I didn't cry actually.
Yeah.
I got
Does it
into it.
hurt?
I was so ready,
hurts
but
so-
it hurt so
yeah.
bad for a
Wait,
while.
why do you do that?
Because you have to, because you have
gotta
to
stretch
get
it
through
out.
You got to go through the storm to get to the island.
Exactly. You got to stretch
Wait, hold
it
on
out.
one second. I can't believe there are people listening to this going, wait, hold on. You're joking, right?
It
Bert?
doesn't hurt
No.
everybody.
Oh, really?
I've
Right.
had friends that they had sex and they were like, I was fine.
Oh my god. I thought
Yeah.
it was gonna like seriously
Depends.
tear
It hurt
in
a
half.
lot. Yeah.
Depends.
Yeah.
Also, like how much you probably like masturbate with a dildo before you eventually have sex too.
Change the subject? I can't believe I'm uncomfortable about this. Well, and I think,
Clip John Oliver's going to play when he confronts you.
Yeah.
what did you think? Did you think that was cool for John Oliver to do?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is nice to have men that are comfortable coming forward and being like, no, like let's talk about the shit that you've done. It's nice.
Yeah.
It's nice to have advocates.
Yeah.
What did you think about? Did you see that thing? They're like, finally, a feminist is going to host the Emmys, and then they were like, Seth, whatever his name is, Seth
Myers.
And then they were like, how about a woman? And
Yeah.
everyone's like, I love that shit. I love when that like that progressive left,
that obvious
fucking you don't realize you're racist, but you are.
Right.
Like I said this on stage one time and I got a big applause, but then I think I got it for the wrong reason. But I was like, I love when liberals find out they're racist. Like I love it. Oh, it makes my dick hard. Cause look, I'm very honest to a fault, obviously. And like, I don't like the public school system in the Valley. In my opinion, it's representative of Southern California, but it's not. It's just predominantly Latino. Like when I say predominantly, like I want to say it's like 80%. That's just, it's like, as a white, sending your daughter there.
It's getting dicey.
It is. Yeah. I don't give a fuck. I don't really give a fuck. By the way, that's the beautiful thing about the place I'm in now. I can't get fired. I can say whatever the fuck I want. I can just be honest. And I think that's why people listen to this podcast. It's because they go, Bert's not biting his tongue anymore. He's not hiding, smoking a joint on Rogan. He's just saying what he's saying. And this is what I'm thinking. Or this is not what I'm thinking, but at least I appreciate a guy being honest. That's the thing that's what I love about this podcast. And what I love about this art form is that we're getting into a place where, as a comic, you're forced to think of, you have a responsibility to think about what you're saying, but even if you fuck up as a comic, your fans go, hey, we all fuck up.
But you need fans first, is the thing.
Right.
If you're a young comic, you still got to bite your tongue a lot and you got to be careful.
No.
But you have an audience.
No.
It's different for you because you have an audience.
No. Listen, I bite my tongue on Twitter.
Yeah.
I bite my tongue on Twitter. I don't post anything on Twitter because that's out there forever. These people listening to this have come here because they're just sitting, like, I know this guy, and dude, shout out to you. You know who you are. Guy who works a forklift like 6 hours, 8 hours a day. And he's just sitting on a forklift. And right now, he's fucking engaged because he's like, say what you're going to say about the fucking high school, Bert. Like,
right.
It's not, you don't, it's just real. It's not like, you guys haven't done radio enough to know, but like, radio is so fucking horseshit.
Yeah,
where they
very
like, you go in.
Yeah.
I said something on radio. I made a 9/11 joke on radio, and they're like, "Whoa, hot one! What's going on here?
Yeah.
Hold on, whoa! These are your statements, Bert." And you're like, "Fuck off!
Yeah.
Fuck off! Yeah, they are my statements, and no one can take that away from me. Like that's the thing I love about podcasts is that these are my statements."
Right. They're the deep thoughts that people are afraid to voice, even though we all might think them, but some people are like, well, I can't say that because I'll get in trouble, that kind of thing.
Like when you do stand up, you have to make sure it has a joke. When you have a podcast, you can work it out. You can figure it out. Anyway, the point I was saying was we go to the school, and it is definitely predominantly Mexican. The whole and I'll just say this, the whole homecoming queen and king things are all Latino. That's the whole homecoming queen is, and so that's all Latino. So that's representative of the school. These are the cool kids. There's no white kids. We go to a football game, we don't see any white kids. Now, I said it before we even looked at school. I go, I don't know if I wanted Georgia going to a school that's like 80% Latino. Like I wanted to go to a school that's a little more even balanced. And my wife's like, you're not going to find that in Southern California. It's just, you're not going to find that in a public school unless we move to Beverly Hills or unless we move to Palisades or unless we move to Brentwood. There it's a little more even, but even that, those are like rich white neighborhoods. And so I'm like, so if you just are like middle class white, you're just Latino? And she's like, yeah. By the way, the liberal parents would never call it this out loud. Never. But in private, you're either in the honors programs, that's what the white kids are in, or you're in Gen Pop. Gen Pop, like a prison. They call it Gen Pop.
Jesus.
Now listen, I'll call it Gen Pop, but I'll acknowledge that what we're saying right now is horrifically racist. I will acknowledge that, and I will acknowledge all of this. But then all these liberal moms go to this football game with us, and they're all progressive. But the second they see the student body, they say shit like, there's no way my fucking kid's going here. And I go, hey, own that shit out loud. Right. Own that shit in your everyday conversation. Don't, when it comes to my kid, there's a black woman that wrote an article about this, and that's predominantly where a lot of my ideas came from it. She wrote a great article. Maybe it was a he. I apologize if I'm fucking it up. I'm definitely fucking this up. He's I'm really fucking this up, but I think it's a dude. He lives in Brooklyn. There's 2 Brooklyn schools. There's one that where all the rich kids go. That's a public school. That's like a charter school. And then there's another one that's in the same area, but if you live over there, that's all black. And all the white parents don't want their kids going to the black school, but they're all progressive liberals, real progressive liberals. Oh my God, I support everybody. I love everybody. I would never say the N-word, but they don't want their kids going to the black school. Well, then fucking say that at the beginning. Be that person throughout your life. Don't fuck. And and this is where, and I haven't figured this out for stage, and I don't know if I ever will. I don't know if it's my voice, but that's why people hate Lena Dunham. Is she's one of those people.
She's a hypocrite.
She's a hypocrite. Yeah. I
don't know enough about her, honestly, but I've heard
it's best if you guys don't say anything and let me talk, because I think she can help your careers and she can't help mine. But like, well, I mean, I'm being serious. I'm being dead serious. Don't say a fucking word, because
oh my God, I don't know that
she's gotten slammed a lot because she doesn't realize she's racist, and she'll never learn that she is inherently racist, that racism is institutionalized. It's part of the genetic makeup of Americans. They don't realize that. They just go, I'm liberal. And then she tweets something shitty about Odell Beckham because he's a black man. She doesn't realize she's doing it because she's fucking oblivious. But then she comes out and says all this shit, and that's why people don't like her. She does this thing about fucking... She stands up for white women. She doesn't stand up for women in general. So like one of the writers on her show got accused of rape. Listen, #believe all women. I'll be on that board, but let's do it across the fucking board. And then Lena Dunham comes out and goes, actually 8% of women lie, and this is one of the liars. You know why? Woman of color. I know this guy, he'd never do it to her, is what she said. Allegedly. I don't know what she said really, but...
What did you think of Judd Apatow defending her?
I like Judd Apatow. I'll never say a bad word about Judd Apatow.
Because he can help your career.
No, because the first time I did my first set ever at the Comedy Store, Judd Apatow brought me. I've always said I'll never say a bad word about Judd Apatow ever.
Yeah.
First time I ever did a set at the Comedy Store, first time as a paid regular, Judd Apatow brought me up, and I was like, and he bumped me, Tosh bumped me, like 5 dudes bumped me before I got up. I think Louis was there, and Judd Apatow bumped me, and I was just like, all right, I'm just ready to get this over with. And Judd Apatow gave me the sweetest, most genuine intro. He's like, who's next? And they're like, Bert. He goes, oh, this next guy, you're gonna love him. He's got a show on Travel Channel called Bert the Conqueror. He had a Showtime special. You might know him as The Machine. Put your hands together for Bert Kreischer.
Nice.
And I was like, oh my God, Judd. And I had a great set. So I'll never say a bad word about Judd Apatow ever.
Yeah.
But that only because of that. But
there's a person I would be bummed if something came out about him, because he seems
but
so
don't
nice.
but look, drain the swamp, but don't be shocked when your brothers, dads, and boyfriends are standing there naked.
Right.
They're men. I mean, it's what men do. Men, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but like, are like, did all the guys you fall in love with, did you hunt them or did they hunt you? Like, did they hit on you or did you hit on them?
I hunted.
I hunted, definitely.
Yeah, I hunted.
For some,
combo.
Some of it's a combo.
Aggressor.
Yeah, it's a combo. I definitely do not think all men are pieces of shit.
No.
You know.
I don't think all men are pieces of shit, but let's put a percentage on it.
Not all men are like sexually assaulting people.
Right.
Yeah,
but
I get the thing where you're like, well, all men do the.
Are kind of
you're
gross.
You're kind of saying the like all men are kind of gross or like have these thoughts or whatever. But there's a difference between having thoughts and
Acting
on them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Completely. Because
Yeah.
we all have. I mean, nobody wants. Whenever you pick a superpower in a game of Would You Rather, no one ever picks reading minds because everybody's messed up.
Yeah.
between
course.
the
And
years.
women are equally gross with their thoughts.
Completely.
I'm
Oh my
disgusting.
gosh.
You know,
I don't want anyone up here.
I objectify men and sexualize them all the time.
Right.
But like people
But I
aren't
would never
physically
do
threatened
anything
by
about
me.
it because I'm not strong
Right.
enough.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody's
clear.
physically
Yeah.
threatened by me, but I'm like, damn. Like, what? You know? But like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just not seen the same way.
I was jogging in San Diego this weekend, yesterday, and they had volleyball courts up, and the girls were playing volleyball. I don't know if you've seen it lately, but the girls in volleyball maybe wear an inch of fabric. It is.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is. I will tell you this, as a straight white male, I don't know why I put white in there, but it is highly erotic. It is.
Yeah,
the short
they are-
I am grosser toward women.
It's not short shorts. It's
mentally
not short
than
shorts.
men. I'm always
is-
like, damn, look at those tits, you know?
So
Leggings.
No, it is. I'm not joking. This much of a bathing suit around the sides, and then maybe extends to this much in the back.
Yeah.
So you see their actual crack.
Yeah,
And when they
it's like
bend
thongs,
over,
yeah.
when they bend over, it goes up their ass because they're running around.
Right.
It is highly erotic. And then there was a girl. I literally was jogging, and I looked out of the corner of my eye and did a double take. But there was one girl who's got that, and then got the top, and she's got natural boobs, and they're bouncing around. And I said to myself, don't look at that. That's, who knows how old she is? Maybe she's 17.
Oh, God.
Don't look at that.
Yeah.
Just jog. You're a married man. Just jog. Don't sit on the, because I thought, part of me goes, initial thought was like, dude, take a picture, put it on Instagram, you get fucking million likes, you know? Like, but
Don't do that.
No.
Yeah. Please don't do that.
That's using someone else's sexuality as currency.
Yeah, no shit. But you know, you like, or you go like, oh, I wouldn't mind watching this match, and then I go, no, you're a man, you're a grown man, just jog, do your jog, go home, and then I jog past them, and then I have to jog back past them, and I realized that I had run past 9 much older dudes than me watching volleyball,
Wow.
and they're
Yeah.
just looking at her ass and crack.
Yeah.
And so I stopped and masturbated.
Oh God! But I
a plant.
asked,
No,
and everybody
but I asked.
laughed, which
Everybody
I took
said
as
great.
everyone knows a chuckle means yes.
Everybody said the machine.
No, I just kept jogging. I mean, I definitely on the jog back. It's like, I hope they're still playing volleyball. just to give a look. Just a
But glance.
Yeah.
But like
I
that's
work hard.
fine.
I got 3
You're
shows
admiring
with that.
Yeah, you're admiring a beautiful woman. That's
Yeah.
fine. But you're not going up to him and be like, hey, let me want to see my dick. You know,
and
like
as
it's a
a
difference.
As a woman, when you are dressed a certain way, not you're dressed a certain way, not to put that in such a whatever. I'm not gonna put it.
This coming from
like-
a woman who's dressed as if she's breaking into a house.
How dare you! I flew back
And
from
rocking
Denver
it.
today. My hair is disgusting. That's why I'm wearing a beanie. No, I feel like if you're dressed a certain way, or even if you like put certain photos on Instagram, we've talked about this on our podcast. Like if you put certain photos on Instagram, you know, okay, I'm gonna get some creepy comments.
Right.
All right,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get some weird direct messages. People are gonna think certain things when they see this. I'm making peace with that. I'm still going to make the decision. Like, especially as a female comic, like the stuff we've posted is very tame in comparison to some of the other stuff we've seen. And like, people will make comments. Like, there was some
Fucking
creepy
guy yesterday.
Did I? Oh, yeah. Well, oh my God. Yeah, there was some guy, but Kelsey posted a really cute selfie of her, but her boobs were out and they were very cute and very symmetrical. And some guy posted.
I saw this selfie because I thought, what are you trying to do with your boobs?
Am I trying to do
Was it on
with my
Instagram?
boobs? Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, like.
Those are her boobs.
No,
That's
no,
What am I
but
trying to do with them?
No, because Chelsea Handler had done a very similar selfie.
Oh, really?
And was talking about, and I immediately was like, oh, I wonder if she's doing the same joke Chelsea Handler was doing.
Oh, no.
But yours is
It's
just
a
a
cute
selfie.
picture.
Just a picture.
Just a selfie in the green room with
Yeah.
good lighting, and I was
Titties.
like,
Oh, that's right. You said the lighting's great. And I was
Yeah.
like, I literally thought to myself, right, Kelsey, that's what we're looking at is the lighting. Like,
well, the lighting makes your tits look nice.
Yeah, she knows.
oh, okay.
But she
I
got
didn't
a
know that.
comment from a guy who was like, man, I'm a real big fan of you. I love your podcast. He's like, but you guys have talked about this and like, you don't need to do this. Like, I'm not a fan. And I just replied to him and I said, why are you questioning a good thing? Like, why are you complaining? It's weird to hear from a dude.
And it's also like, I'm not doing this for you. Like, I don't need this. I'm doing this because I want
you also
to.
don't do it
Yeah.
very often.
Yeah.
Like fuck it. If you like, you have boobs. They're a part of you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
if they
it's
get in
just-
a picture, it's
It's so
part
funny.
of your
I
body.
didn't even
You know.
know you had. I mean, I know you have boobs, but I didn't know you had boobs until that picture.
Yeah, see, that's
the
that's
thing.
exactly
You
the
don't
thing.
go on stage like that.
So when people see them in like that sort of thing, they're like, oh, like I didn't. Are you like this now? And it's like,
yeah.
But it's not. I'm just gonna. I'll play devil's advocate.
okay,
Is like. It's I definitely saw that picture and it caught me off guard because I was like oh I don't see you as that. I don't see you as like sexy. I mean I know you're beautiful, but like I don't see you as like Eliza. She does. I think she posts nudes of herself.
Yeah.
Or Chelsea
Right.
posts nudes of herself, and I see them as that. Like I get that. That's their thing. But like it's like if it would be the same as if I can't think of the example. But like I post a lot of pictures in the Speedo.
right,
But if
Lachlan Patterson.
If Lachlan Patterson did it, you'd be like, oh, or Jesselnick.
Yeah.
You'd be like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, not saying what the fuck are you doing. You can take whatever picture you want of yourself. But
Right.
I'm saying, I will say that I definitely saw that picture and I was like, wait, what's the joke here? Like, I couldn't figure out.
Like off-brand or something.
But that's the thing too, is like not everything that I feel like we post has to be a sarcastic joke. It can just be like, I feel nice in this picture and I want to post it. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the thing too with
It caught me off guard. It would be, I swear to God, and I only because I did look at that picture. I don't think I commented or anything. And I did read the thing. It said, this is what beautiful lighting does. And I was like, I just never saw you in that light before. Like, meaning like the lighting you showed me was a different light than what I've ever seen you in.
Right.
Okay.
And that like I kind of know you as like, well, I kind of know all you guys as like little sisters.
Yeah.
Like I don't see you guys sexually the same way Jim probably doesn't see you sexually.
Right.
Like I just see you guys as little sisters. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, my sister got boobs. You know, like.
Oh yeah.
but that's what's so funny is like they've always been there and we get to decide for ourselves when we want to wear something that's like a little bit more revealing or if we want to have our hair and makeup done. And we also get to decide, you know, I posted a video of like me in a mouth guard. Like we get to decide when we want to be silly and look awful and just like be real or whatever. But I don't know.
So let me ask you the question.
Sure.
So you get to decide that. Are we not allowed the same decision process to acknowledge different things, or do we have to decide?
I think it's just like, don't be a total creepy piece of shit. But like, we don't want to have to feel like we just need to sit in the shadows or like wear turtlenecks or whatever. It's like, if we want to feel nice, we should be able to feel nice. And it's like, I think that line has gotten so blurry now between somebody giving you a compliment and somebody being really creepy.
Yeah.
And this sucks to say, but I think a lot of it comes down to like who is saying it and maybe the way it's being said. But like, if it's a hot guy and they say something like, oh, like you look really like beautiful tonight, there's a party that's like, oh, thanks, and it feels nice. But if it's like a creepy bridge troll that's like, you look really beautiful, you're like, ugh, I wish I hadn't worn this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's not fair, but I know that is an instinctive thing.
That's why I stopped saying hello to women entirely. Like in public.
That's extreme.
No, because I'm very friendly. I like talking.
Yeah, you don't want people to think.
Yeah.
And so I just stopped saying hi to women.
Just like strangers.
Yeah, or I stopped complimenting women also, because I would compliment someone like if usually, and I'm sure you've seen me do this. I always compliment a woman on something that I think reminds me of my daughters or of my wife. Like my number one compliment I ever give anyone, and it's simply because Leanne wears glasses, is, oh, I love your glasses.
Yeah.
Because because I know that Leanne's like into, you know, when she puts on her glasses.
That's a very respectful compliment.
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
but I stopped that entirely. Because
Really?
because it's not worth the trouble.
Yeah.
It's not worth the trouble to make a stranger feel better versus me look like a creep
And make them feel unsafe. Yeah.
Yeah, and make them feel unsafe. So I stopped talking to women entirely. I won't say anything to anyone. Like I'll go to Starbucks and I'll think things. I'll think like, I saw this girl the other day at Starbucks who had really cool hair. And I was like, it was dyed cool. And Isla is dyeing her hair. I don't know if you saw it when you came in, but she dyed her hair.
Yeah.
And I wanted to say like, oh, I love your hair. Like, and I just said no.
But it's also kind of what she's saying is like the attractive versus unattractive thing, but it's also like your general vibe. Like you don't have a creepy vibe.
But
you get into Ubers.
To you.
I guess that's true.
Yeah.
But I guess I'm thinking of like my test is like if I got into an Uber with this guy, would I feel safe? Like
That's a good way
if
to
you
put
were
it,
an
yeah.
Uber driver, you'd have a picture of like Isla and Georgia sitting on Leanne's lap, like on the front dash. So everyone would be like, oh, it's fine for him to comment on my hair.
Or be like, that's a fake family. He's just
exactly.
he's really
I
creepy.
guess that's true. Yeah, you don't really know.
By the way, if I was a woman, I would never use Uber.
Oh yeah, it's terrifying.
Thank you.
It is.
Never use
It's tough,
so
but I use it
fucking
all the
awful.
time
I would
just because it's better
never-
than cheap. It's better than driving after
It's
a
so
couple
awful.
drinks. Or
Nope,
whatever
I'd roll
it
the
be.
dice on a DUI.
Really?
What?
Yep.
Oh, I
I
wouldn't
would
do that.
never use a fucking Uber as a woman.
What
I
about
have to
a
do it
taxi?
weekly for.
A taxi?
Yeah. Even
What if
less.
it's a female
taxis
Uber
are
driver
more dangerous?
and you're
They
a woman?
should have that option.
They do
there
have
was
that, right?
Yeah. What
Is
was that app for
Chariot.
a while?
Chariot.
That never came out, did it?
God
I
damn
don't
it.
know. What it was like females only,
Female
basic
drivers.
drivers.
Can I tell you? I was in Chicago this weekend, and my mom like just
Thalia Hall?
yeah with Jim and the
How many
timing.
is that seat?
I want to say 7, 8, something like that.
Yeah.
it's not, sometimes the theaters we do are like 2,000. This was more intimate, but my mom just like the worst timing. I was about to call an Uber to go. I was doing the spot at like the Laugh Factory the night before, and my mom sent me this article. It's like, hey, just reminding you to stay safe about like how rape does happen with Uber drivers, and that the precaution that you're supposed to take, which I've never done, is that when your Uber driver pulls up, you're supposed to go to the passenger window, ask them, hey, do you mind showing me your ID? So you can make sure that their ID matches the one that you have on your phone.
Oh, wow.
I've never done that before. To me, I was like,
No.
oh, that's going to feel really uncomfortable. My mom was like, Chicago's a big city. Like, you should just to do it, just be careful. I tried it with a guy. He was not having it, and I didn't take a ride with him. I was like, hey, do you mind showing me your ID just so I can make sure? He's like, what? And I was like, do you mind if I just see your ID so I can make sure you're the person on my phone? And he shows me his phone, and I'm on it, and he's like, isn't this you? And I was like, yeah, but I just want to make sure that like you're who you say you are. And he goes, if you don't trust me, then just don't even get in my car.
Oh my God.
What?
You're a stranger. Why
And
the fuck
like
would I?
there was zero empathy or acknowledging that like I'm a woman and I'm getting in your car.
What country was he from?
He was Arab.
Okay, you got to remember, sometimes in his country,
Right.
when a woman's disrespectful, they light her on fire. So like that's the but that once again, that's this big cultural divide where like these are truths in this world that
Right.
like that guy, the idea that you would want to see his ID to him is so fucking offensive. He's looking at your face.
Right.
It's very possible that his wife doesn't show her face to him.
Right.
Like-
Or he might have thought that I was just stereotyping him and wanting to make
right.
sure. So like whatever. But so he drove away. I canceled. I requested. I got a woman, and I was like, okay, huge relief.
She comes
But-
over and she's like, you got 2 stars.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
What's going
She's
on
like,
with
do
you?
you mind showing me your ID?
Yeah. It was like, it sucked though. It sucked.
Did you have her show
Dude,
you her ID or no?
No.
Yeah.
First
Because
of
she was a
all,
lady.
yeah.
oh,
I could take her.
First of all, I mean, personally, once again I say this as a father, fuck that guy.
Fuck
up his
that guy.
ass.
Yeah,
That's
seriously,
not. That is
yeah.
not. Why can't you just? That's
It's not
ego. That's
hard.
ego talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I'm glad I didn't get in his car.
yeah.
You know,
well,
that's like
I'm
the
not
type
saying
of
the
deal.
guy would have sexually assaulted you. You probably would have
No,
been 100%
but I'm just
fine.
saying like that's
He's
also
a
not the type
dick.
of person I want to be alone with in a car.
I don't want to be
just
alone
don't
with a
know.
lot of Uber drivers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. But there is this weird fucking like it's not white privilege, but like America, we have these set of standards. I might be too buzzed to be talking about this. Okay, help me through this. Help me get through the woods as opposed to take away my flashlights. All right.
Oh God. We'll try our best.
America has set these standards up for our style of living, what we find acceptable, and we almost forget that there are real atrocities going on out there.
Yeah.
That there are children being trafficked into sex slavery. Like that there are still slaves in this world. That there are people in blood diamond mines, and that sometimes they go into a village and cut arms off, and that some people can't get clean drinking water. And then and like Matt Lauer's pretty bad for our standards.
Yeah.
But like I never could figure this out. But I was always like, how do we get like, what if we started working more globally with our issues? Like, does that make?
Oh, what if we started with the worst thing instead of what's right in front of you?
Yeah.
Help
Like, what if,
resolve
like,
that first.
The worst thing out there. Like, what do you think the worst thing out there? Women. Let's start with women's rights. Okay.
Okay.
Like, what if we just said, all right, women's rights. Let's start with this Sharia law where you can beat the fuck out of a woman. Like, let's try to help them. Maybe let's start there.
Yeah.
Or let's start with children sex slaves. There shouldn't be that.
Yeah.
Right.
Or harems. Let's get rid of harems.
Yeah.
Or like it's interesting. I see sometimes in America we turn a blind eye to the real atrocities going on in this world, and we focus on outrage online. Where I go, I don't really give a fuck. I really don't give a fuck about Lena Dunham. Like, I know I brought her up a couple times, but like I think she's super talented. Mm-hmm. I don't watch her shit because it's not made for me, you know. Mm-hmm. But like,
Yeah.
Lindy West is a really great example. I really admire Lindy West. I really do. I don't agree with half the stuff she says, but I really admire her. And I used to follow her because I like hearing other sides. Just as a comic, I think the one thing that everyone forgets is most comics, good comics, like to hear both sides of a point.
Yeah.
Good comics like to, and if you're a comic that is one-sided, and you can't hear the other side, then you're fucking imbecile. You're not doing your job right. You're not a comic.
Yeah.
So I used to love following Lindy West, and then there was just so much negativity sent towards her, and she had to put back such negativity, and she seemed to be working in a microcosm of what it seemed to me to be Seattle female problems, of like white female Seattle problems, transgendered weight, like, when this is gonna. By the way, please feel free to anyone to send this to Lindy West. When I was going through
deactivate her Twitter?
I hope she did. I think that would be the healthiest thing for her.
Huh. Maybe I'm thinking of someone else.
No, she was the one that fought Norton. Do you guys need to get out of here?
No, I was just checking time. I also have to pee like a...
Go pee.
Yeah.
Really?
Go pee, yeah.
Should we go in shifts?
Well, hold on. Let's do this. Let's finish this idea. We'll go pee. I'll make another drink. We'll come back. We'll do a little bit more, and then we'll all bounce. Okay. I don't want you guys to have to stay here forever, but I could talk to you guys forever.
Right. We're very engaging.
Lindy West was the girl that got in a fight with Norton.
Right.
On Kamau Bell's show.
Right.
Kamau Bell is one of my favorite guys in the world because me and him don't agree on everything. We agree on a lot of things, but we don't agree on everything. But I like to hear his ideas because I know he's smart as fuck.
Yeah.
I know Lindy West is smart as fuck. She really is smart as fuck. And when I was going through the fat shaming thing with Tom, I was having legit issues with body dysmorphia, like and like how I viewed myself and self-esteem. And I listened to this podcast she was on where she talked about that, and this other woman talked about it, and accepting yourself as being overweight, and how sometimes it's happier to be overweight than to try to struggle with eating disorders. And it was really helpful, but I had to unfollow her because I would just see her fighting with people. And I was like, that's not the version of her I want to see.
Yeah.
But all the fights were about this microcosm world.
Yeah.
Right.
Like she wasn't having big fights about like the real atrocities out there.
Right.
Like the things that could change the lives of people.
Right.
You know?
Every country is supposed to look out for its own citizens, so it's much harder to, focus on other things when it's like, well, then the people that you're in the country with don't feel heard if they have issues. But I feel it's all relative. Like our worst thing is not going to be their
non-binary
worst.
transgender issue is almost a moot point when it comes to the world. Unless it's your kid, then you're like, yo, this is real. This is legit.
Yeah.
It's almost like special interest groups have really compartmentalized racism. Like these special interest groups have really like figured out like it's almost like they're like, listen, we need to work on us because those people are animals. Like they're fucking monsters over in Liberia. Like we're us. We're not savages. Let's us step up our game. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
That's interesting.
Yeah, I think it's tough to try to solve problems in your own country and other countries. I think we try to balance it as we can, but
we just want to make our lives better.
Right. I mean, it's all relative. Like our worst thing in this country is not going to be as the worst thing in Africa. It's totally separate.
Like in Africa, they're probably not asking Uber drivers for IDs.
Right. No, women are getting their fucking clits.
Sorry, yeah.
Women are getting their clits knifed off. You know what I mean?
Don't
like shit like that.
Started.
Crazy.
That is
crazy.
That is
horrible.
Yeah.
I don't like men in this country. I mean, I like men in this country. I love men. I'm a bro. But I understand the problem with men in this country. Man, men out of this country are fucking savages.
Holy God.
Yeah.
They are horrific.
They're
Look, if you don't like the men in this country, go to a different country for a second. I'm not talking Australia or New Zealand or England. I'm talking the ones that got an A and a Y in them. And you're like, what the fuck? Like, you know what's crazy? They don't even let women on Periscope in the Middle East.
Jesus.
Yeah, you can't find a woman on Periscope. On fucking Periscope.
I mean, Periscope's not that
women
cool
aren't even
anymore.
allowed to pray in a mosque. They're not
Yeah.
allowed to pray in a mosque if they're on their period. They have to go somewhere else.
After watching those volleyball
Crazy
girls,
stuff.
part of me was like, I bet these burqas make sense. Like, I bet I wonder what I wonder. I would love to hear stats. I would love to hear like Malcolm Gladwell do stats on women in burqas versus American women and sexuality and sexual assault and sexual harassment in the Middle East versus here. Like I would be curious of that, you know?
I mean,
so I bet there's less sexual harassment when they aren't allowed into the room with you.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think that also boils down to like either as a dude you are capable of that or you're not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whether you're tempted by like
So you think it's nature and not nurture?
Yeah, you're somebody who is not a predator, and so you were able to see those women in the bikinis and be like, yeah, I'm sexually attracted to that, but I'm not going to do anything about it.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit and perv out.
Sure, exactly. But I just think that that's kind of what it comes down to.
Also, going back to our experience versus other people's experience not being the same, if all you're seeing is women in burqas all the time, you know, you're not thinking like, oh man, it'd be harder not to yell anything if I could see more of them. You're just used to seeing that amount of a woman, so that's probably still erotic to you in some way. Yeah,
it's like you get calibrated differently.
I might get Leanna burqa for Christmas.
Oh my god!
All right, let's put a pin in
really
this.
quick.
That would be the only
so
burqa ever given at Christmas. Let's go pee and we'll come back.
Oh, I'm so glad you said something.
The burqa. Oh.
I'm assuming my daughters are asleep. You guys got a spot?
Well, I just have to take them home in case there's drinking. So I was like, I'll drive. And
You guys are such
Should the dog stay?
I gotta.
she can come in and she'll just get up. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
She can come in.
Yeah, she can come in.
That nerds are responsible.
Water?
No.
I'm okay.
Actually, I am like super allergic to her doing my.
Oh.
Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Come on, puppy.
Just tell her. I see Chris going. Chris Spot, come on. Here, hang on.
I know what happens.
Chris Spot, come on.
No, it's okay, babe.
Come on.
I know, I forget that too. Just because I always forget because of the cats.
Well, I'm allergic to them too, but I just deal with it.
Oh, you just deal with it.
Yeah.
That's love.
Are you serious?
I lived in
She
the
loves
bubble
them.
for like 10
Can you
years.
grab that bottle of soda real quick?
Yeah. I lived in the bubble for 10 years because doctors told me like I shouldn't ever be around anything I'm allergic to ever again. But I've loved animals my whole life, and I just was like, fuck it.
Go
Wait,
live
you
your
lived in a fucking... You're joking about a bubble, right?
Yeah. But I just feel like I was...
Sit down, talk on the mic.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry. We were just talking about my allergies. I went through the immunotherapy for years where I would go to a doctor twice a week and they would inject me with what I was allergic to try and build my immunity. Yeah. Were you that terrified me every time. Were you scared that you're going to go into anaphylactic shock?
No, my allergies weren't that bad. There was just like trees and grass.
Okay. Did it help you?
Oh, it's just the stuff that's everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, so
just
funny.
the world.
I remember thinking, I can't imagine if someone was allergic to grass, and then I found out I was, and I was like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, it sucks.
It's been my reality the whole time.
Like I can't. I see people lay in grass, and I go,
Same.
Oh,
Oh my god, I'd be in hives immediately.
Hives immediately.
No, I'm allergic to horsehair. Like, good thing I'll never fucking live on a farm.
Severely.
Yeah.
So you,
Dodged a bullet.
So you can't crimp your hair?
Just horsehair.
Oh, horsehair.
Yeah. I was like, are you saying I have horsehair?
That was the most like dude thing to say, like, so you can't style your hair like a horse's mane?
Like no, I meant like a whore. Like a whore. I thought she said horse hair.
I can't believe I'm the only one who got it. The biggest.
I'm allergic to horse hair. As soon as I put it on, I start sucking dicks. Just,
How did that work out so perfectly? Both prints.
I just can't use hairspray and fucking.
So we have 20 minutes left. You guys got to get out of here. You guys are rookies.
We're so big. Hey, I flew back in today. I'm sick. I have to drive tomorrow.
Where you
6
driving
hours.
to?
I got to drive up to NorCal. I'm just doing like one-nighters all week, and then I go to Portland in the middle.
Fuck that.
Some of us are trying to build an audience, Bert. Some of us aren't famous
by the way,
yet.
No, that's not. By the way, I'll tell you right now, it's the wrong way to go about it.
Okay, we're not building it. Some of us are trying to get good at stand-up. That's what I should have said.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. You got to fail in front of strangers.
Yeah.
No better place than in front of the ones. But take big fucking chances while you're up there, because that's the only point. Like I used to fucking.
Oh, totally.
I used to swing big when I was younger. I don't swing that big anymore.
Well, there's more at stake. People are buying tickets.
No, I just don't care as much.
Oh,
Like,
really?
Like I don't care. I don't care. I lost the need to be. I lost the need to be the comic that everyone runs in to go see all the other comics. I just want to be
comic.
Yeah, I just want to be a really good comic. Like I want to be a really good comic.
Yeah.
Like Ron White. Ron White. I don't think anyone's like running in to go see Ron. I mean, maybe,
so,
yeah, maybe, because he's super famous. But like, maybe that's the wrong example. But like, I just want to be just really good.
Yeah.
Like that's it. Like I don't need to be the edgiest. I don't need to have the joke that we're like.
Yeah.
Like Burr's that guy, and I think that pressure weighs on Bill.
He's so funny.
Oh my God, absolutely.
Where it's like where everyone's like Jim. If Jim goes up to the cellar, I don't think people go run down to see Jim. They just go, he's going to a spot.
Right.
You know?
Well, also the cellar's so different in the way that like there isn't a lot of room to stand and watch people, you know what I mean? Like it's mostly
the store's the same way a little bit in the OR. Like no one's you got to want to watch somebody.
Yeah.
People run in to see Burr though.
100%. Yeah. Oh,
100%.
Yeah. I don't know if I want that.
I have a question.
That's a lot of pressure.
Shoot.
I have a question for you. Do you feel the pressure to be putting out that sort of like new hour every year that Louis and Burr started? That kind of, I feel like they started something that wasn't really happening before then. I don't feel like it was an hour every year, but they started to do it. Now I feel like everybody else is like, oh shit, if I'm not doing that, then I'm falling behind. Do you feel that pressure, or are you like, whatever, I'm good?
No, I feel I'm on my own watch when it comes to that.
Okay.
Meaning, when Bill and Louis did that, I was like, well, first of all, I write really quickly, so I can write an hour pretty quickly.
That's amazing.
It's not a good hour, but I can write an hour pretty quickly. Like I remember Segura one time said one of the best compliments I've ever gotten in my life, and I will never forget this compliment because I knew it about myself, but I felt like I didn't know if other people saw it.
Yeah.
Him and Jay Moore were talking, and Segura said, Bert has forgotten more material than we'll write this year.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I write really quick, and I write on the fly, and I just go through stuff, and some stuff is like it works, it gets a laugh, but then I'm like it's not my taste.
Yeah.
You know,
it
like
doesn't stick to you the way
like I have a bit about Alexa right now that I'm sure everyone will end up doing that kind of bit, so I probably won't put her on a special.
Right.
I see what you mean.
Not as personal
and
to you.
I'll work it out through a weekend because it's fun for me. But like, you know, Leanne told me the other day that she didn't like the way I talked to Alexa because of this Me Too thing. She was like, she goes, I think if it was a man, you'd talk differently to it. And I was like, oh yeah, I only got Alexa so that I know what it sounds like to be I felt like to be a man in the 50s. Like, Alexa, make a list. But like everyone's gonna write that joke, you know. So like, what am I gonna? So I write it, I tell it, I leave it.
Sure. General, topical versus like specific to
I have
you.
a joke that a friend of mine was like, hey, just, you know, this guy and this guy had that joke too. I was like, yeah, that's not my act. It's just a joke I wrote.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. Just an observation.
So I write on my own schedule. For me, the schedule is simply touring. I don't know if Bill and Louis had that in mind when they started this.
Doesn't Burr do every 2 years?
Touring?
No, new hour.
Maybe.
New special.
I just felt like with Louis, wasn't Louis like one a year for a while?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
but in all fairness, he did one special, and then I think he got hot, and he was like, I want to do another special, and someone wanted it, and he was like, he went through his old joke books and reworked jokes that he did when he was younger.
Oh.
That's so interesting.
Huh.
Yeah.
I did not know that. I feel like people put so much shame on like your older material, or like if something's old, or like, oh, it's what you're supposed to ditch it, never resurrect it. You know, that's interesting.
Well, no, it's all stuff that he did. It's all stuff that he did and had notebooks that he just never. He didn't feel like he was a good enough comic to figure out.
Yeah, sometimes they do take time, right? Where you like revisit it a few years and you're like, oh, okay, I get this now. I can work with
For
this.
me, my special delivery, meaning like when I shoot specials, and is I look at it like what market do I want to shoot the special in?
Yeah.
And then how many markets can I do to prepare for the special? And then and I don't want to go into a market and do the same material twice. So I will only do every market once. And there's only really, I'd say like 50, maybe 40 markets you can do in this country. 40, maybe more. So for me, I shot my last special. My last special came out last year, and I'm shooting my next one in February.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
But that's just because I go, all right, so I started telling this. I look at it I do it by one joke. The one joke that I have is the ziplining joke that I tell.
Yeah.
I started telling that joke. I mean, you can look on my Instagram to see when that joke happened, because it's on my Instagram, a picture of us ziplining. But I don't want to say it's not this last summer, but the summer before.
It's like a year and a half.
So I'll take it. It'll take me a year and a half to do a new hour, and then
It's pretty fast.
yeah. But I'm also different in that, like, you know, this is probably gross, me talking like this, but I'm buzzed, so I don't care. But, like, I look at a lot of comics, and I see a lot of comics aren't truly creative. They're just trying to do what they see is the marketplace is buying. There's a great book that I have floating around. It's a silver book. It's right there. Can you grab that book? Can you grab that book right under there? I'm too fat right now to grab it. It's called the War of Art.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah, we read that
on our podcast.
The self-help book.
It's a really great book.
Yeah.
And he
The
defines
resistance.
Yeah.
he defines a hack. A hack is someone who looks at the marketplace, sees what the marketplace is buying, and then simply creates what the marketplace is buying. There's a lot of comics that do that. And in my opinion, a lot of great comics that do that. A lot of great comics are not writing their true voice. They are simply doing what they see other great comics doing and trying to keep up with the marketplace.
Interesting. Yeah.
I am not in that struggle. I only can do what I do.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's like, and you may not like it. I know that, I think there's some of my really good friends who aren't a fan of what I do. I know, I remember like I was gonna say this, but like, and I know Joe thinks I'm a funny dude. I know he likes my stand up, but I remember we did a podcast. He just, the way he said it, you could tell that he was like confused. He's like, so like, you're just doing stories now? And I was like, well, yeah, I guess technically that's my act, you know, but I guess technically that's what you could whittle it down to is stories, but that's just, I just don't, I had a lot of stuff stolen from me, and I just looked at it and I was like, if we keep writing stuff that people can steal, then people can steal it. If you write
feel the same way.
Yeah.
If you write stuff that no one can steal, then no one can steal
One of the things
it.
someone stole from you was like a very personal story.
You know, that was a little fucking
Jesus.
Wow.
yeah, that was
fucked.
yeah, that was really fucked. That was really fucked. Yeah,
and I don't want to change the subject if you have more to say on this, but I just going back to you saying the thing about some of your close friends, you're like, I don't know if they think I'm funny. I asked you this once where I was like, do you have to think someone's funny to like be friends with them? Like, do you have to think they're good comics?
Yeah.
And you were like, no, I don't think so.
Yeah.
That's
There's a
so
lot of guys-
interesting.
There's a lot of guys I don't find funny that I'm really good friends with.
I don't
Yeah,
feel
what
like
if I was like, I've been meaning to tell you guys. I just don't really
I
see
tell
it in you, but
but you know what? Yeah, I got a coattail for each of you. How about that?
But like I don't like. I think Segura's hilarious on stage. I'll say that.
Yeah.
I think he's hilarious on stage. In my opinion, he is 20 times funnier off stage.
really,
Yeah.
I don't think he's reached his full potential as a comic, because if he could find the way to do his little asides, the little things that make him hilarious to me, if he could find a way to morph that into his act, and that's part of what is really great about their podcast is their little background banter. You know, that's why people love their podcast. And I think his stand-up's amazing, but like between me and you, him off stage is a million times funny. Like, just if you go out to dinner with him, just watching him enjoy life is so funny. and I think he'd probably say the same about me, is I'm much funnier off stage than I am on stage, because on stage it's a little bit of a put on.
That's interesting.
But yeah,
it's hard to
You're
not
the same.
yeah. put on.
I
Yeah.
feel like you're one of those guys who's like the same on stage as he is off stage.
really?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, maybe.
But
I think
don't
that's,
know.
well, my therapist would say the same thing, because we're having issues with that I have no fucking differentiation between the stage and my real life.
Really? Oh. That's what you're supposed to do as a comic.
No,
Well, that's one style.
that's one style, and I bought into the style of I liked the guys that it didn't seem like an act.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like it was authentic.
I feel like I'm more myself on stage. Like whenever I'm on stage, I'm like, oh, this is who I would like to be all the time.
That's really interesting, because I agree with that.
Yeah?
Yeah, you are. like I like you, but I do. I like you before I say that. But I don't like you off stage.
That's totally fair. I know, because I'm boring.
You're really boring off stage.
Yeah, it's fair. Well, I don't drink and I don't do drugs. I don't do anything. I'm not
but
like a
even
partier.
almost to the point where you're like, you definitely are a passenger in your life off stage.
Oh no.
Where you are the pilot in your life on stage.
That's you know what?
Like I wish you were more. I really like. And by the way, and I'm not saying like I always felt bad. And I've talked to Leanne about this, but I've always, and I think I'll probably talk to you about this, but I've always felt bad inviting you to do stuff because I don't ever want you to feel like,
oh yeah, for
I don't
sure.
want to feel like that's part of the job, like that part of the job is hanging out with Bert.
Oh no,
you know, or like I don't want you to feel like, and I don't want you to do stuff you don't want to do, and I definitely don't want you to think that like, oh, what is he gonna hit on me or something like that?
Oh, I've never felt like that.
I would hope not, but like. You're on stage, you're so funny, and then off stage you are just listening.
Well, to be fair, that's also part of the dynamic, which is like anytime we've worked together, like it takes me a while to get comfortable. I'm pretty quiet before I know you. How I am on stage, I will say that's how I am when like the three of us hang out.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like,
Because-
I feel like we see your
Very
like
similar.
inner tiger.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like,
Inner
if we
tiger.
were, yeah. Like,
Tiger? Are we gonna say tiger? Tiger?
oh, I'm
on
kind
stage,
of yeah.
she's
No,
like
I'm,
little
prowls.
feisty.
yeah.
You know
no.
what I mean?
I'm,
She's got
I'm
a lot
kind
of anger.
harsh. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would like. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. I would like more of your personality. Like what I would like to see more of you
Please
is
fix
that
me.
the cynical, snarky. You are. I always say there's like two types of people in my opinion. People that, and I always base it on a wedding. People that you want to go to a wedding with,
Yes.
and then people you want to sit next to at a wedding.
Right.
Like I'm someone you want to go to a wedding with. Like you're like, oh, bring Bert. It's gonna be a fucking blast. You're someone I want to sit next to at a wedding because you're gonna be like, holy shit, table 3. Have you seen them? And I'd be like, no. And you're like, take a look. What the fuck is she wearing? Like it's just, it's like Tosh is someone you want to sit next to at a wedding.
Yeah.
Like Tosh, Bill Burr, Patrice O'Neill is someone you want
my
to sit
God,
next to at a wedding. Jim Norton is someone you want to sit next to at a wedding. I'm someone you want to go to a wedding with.
Yeah.
Like I want you, like you're like Bert will go to be a fucking blast. But like I always want that. Like I'm totally buzzed. I've been drinking all day.
No. This,
But like-
none
but
of
like-
this is offending me at all because I know. Like
I always want that when I'm with you is that I want to see your shitty side. I want to see the
I know you
part
did
of
that
your,
to me the last time I worked with you in, oh God, where were we? I think it was in Phoenix, and you were trying to get me, you were like, what do you think of this person's stand up? And I was like, and I
because
told
I know
them
you're
the story.
opinionated. I know you're
and I was like,
opinionated.
I haven't seen enough of them on stage. And you just went, why can't you just be a bitch? And I'm like, I think they're dog shit, Bert. I just think they're terrible. And
Yeah.
you were like, finally, I knew it. I saw it on your face. I knew you hated them, and I was like, I just don't want to.
Well, half of what our friendships as comics is based on. I mean,
Spilling the
talking
tea.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
me and Tom text back. I mean, our friendship is based on talking shit to each other about other people. Like it is based in that. Like it's how we connected originally, and then it built a friendship that, like I was on stage and I called him the other day and we were just fucking trashing each other, and he's I'm on stage. This is last night, late show, but at the end of the night we both say I love you too. Like it's like, but there's this real unity. Like I want nothing but the best for him, but I also want him to be nothing but honest to me. And like that was one of the things, like, and I love touring with you. I'm bummed you're headlining. I love touring with you. You're so much fun to be around. Like
Don't backpedal. Yeah, it's okay. No,
when I watch you on stage. But like
it's fair. Yeah. No,
I probably
appreciate
wouldn't like you if you were like a drunk, you know?
Right. Yeah.
But like
I feel like we got more comfortable, like, because I went out with you maybe like 6 times. It wasn't a ton, and I felt like the last couple times I got more comfortable. But I'm pretty introverted. It takes me a while to get comfortable, and also I didn't know you very well, and like, I'm
a little. My wife says I cast a large wake.
Yes.
And so, like, it's hard to get to know. And by the way, I don't make friends very easily.
Which is bizarre because I would not. I've heard you say that before, and I think that's so weird
right.
because everyone likes you.
No, I don't make friends.
You make
easy at
acquaintance
all.
really easily. Do you feel like
I think if you next time you talk to Jim, be like, are you friends with Bert or do you know Bert? I think Jim would go, I know him. I'm not friends with him.
Yeah.
But I'm not friends with. I mean, I'm even like Big J is probably my closest friend in New York. Ari, obviously, Ari's probably my closest friend easily. Yeah, but like Big J and I are close. I can share secrets with Big J that I wouldn't share with other people.
Yeah.
But I don't ever talk to him, and I'm always scared to like let people in.
Yeah.
So I was burned so many times. Like I just burned repeatedly by dudes and women that I let in, or I was like, where I go, it feels good to go, hey, I want to give you something, or I want to help, I want to be a part of your life, and then you realize, oh, they're just fucked up narcissists who all they see is their end result.
Yeah.
And how do they help better themselves?
Yeah, there's a lot of that in this business for sure.
Yeah.
We spent a lot of time talking about that.
Really?
Just
exhausting. Absolutely.
Three of us, yeah. Because also we're very we're nice girls and like good girls and kind of people pleasers, and I don't know, I feel like we tend to accommodate other people before maybe accommodating ourselves, and so sometimes we are like, people fucking suck. We just see it quickly because I think we put ourselves in positions to maybe be, at least I do. I know I've talked with them a lot about like forming better boundaries for myself, because I'll just like
boundaries,
dude. Yeah. 2017 is my year of boundaries.
Yeah.
Can I tell you a little sidebar? I have such a problem with boundaries. Like, legit, you have no idea. You just hit a nerve.
Setting boundaries for yourself?
Setting boundaries for other people?
Other people. Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. With you.
Interesting.
That's what, I don't mean to. I know because you guys are all close, I end up bringing Segura or Ari up a lot, or Joe. But one of the things I love about Tom that I really admire, is he sets boundaries really quick. Legit quick.
Yeah.
Like Tom. Yeah. Like I'm drunk and I'm sharing secrets, but he's a guy that I think, I feel like a lot of people here are joking around with each other and don't realize how much I admire him. And he's younger than I am, but he is a really great person. He's really great at the simplest stuff. The simplest stuff. I feel like I'm gonna cry, but the simplest stuff. I call him when I get a business deal. I call him all the time. I go, hey man, I got this offer. What do you think? And what's so funny is his wife, for a very long time, she would talk to Tom and then call me and go, Tom said this, and he's saying I shouldn't accept it, but I know that me and you are the same. We'd accept it. Help me walk me through this. And I go, do it. They're offering you 13 clubs. It's shit money, but you know what? The experience will be great. Yeah. We had that talk one time. I was in Vail, and she was like, I got offered 22 clubs. It's shit money, but I want the experience. And Tom says I should pass and wait for more money. And I was like, don't listen to Tom. He's not nuts.
Take it.
And she's like, really? I go, take it. Push, take it. We can vote here. We're never going to get these opportunities again in our lives.
Oh my
It's
God.
so important to have people like that who are the same, or think the same way. Kelsey and I have conversations like this all the time, because it's hard to find people who are in the same place as you and are similar people in your career. And it's been so nice.
What's hard, not to interrupt, I apologize.
No, go for it.
What's hard for you guys, and I'm saying this from my experience, is to watch, and I know that things are happening for you right now on the television side, is to watch your friend who you started with, who you're at the same level with, who you're peer with, really blow up and not get jealous. I think I was very lucky in that as all my friends blew up, I was on Travel Channel. So it was almost like apples and oranges.
Yeah.
I was really happy for everyone that they were working. But then when I stopped working for Travel Channel, there was definitely a part of me that was like, hey, what about you, Bert? You've been happy for everyone. What about you? You should work on you. Yeah. And it is a really and I think there's too many people in this bit. What was that?
I don't know.
Sound like something mood.
Was it the dog?
Is it Priscilla?
She makes sounds like that. That freaks me
Was
out.
that Priscilla?
She mood. Yeah, she's right
Oh,
here.
God. That was like
she's staring in the
felt
door.
like an alien moment or something. I was like, what is
There's
that?
a dog grunt.
Haunted.
No, but
Yeah, that
but
scared me.
that, by the way, that's why podcasts will always be fucking amazing. Is that we're having a great deep conversation. We're like, what the fuck was that?
my
but
God.
to be able to like, it's super valuable to have that friendship and to watch someone's career take off. Like I watched his. I remember. Tom and I had a conversation about money one time, and I was sitting at that table. We were doing the same thing, and we talked about money, and I was getting paid significantly less than he was getting paid. And let me tell you something, that'll define a friendship right there. When you're like, I'm not going to use this information for my benefit. I'm not going to hold this information against my friend. I'm not going to let this information reflect on how I feel about myself.
Yeah.
I'm going to be happy for my friend, and I'm going to look at this as inspiration for how I move forward.
Right.
And I'm so glad I made that decision, because I was at like the lowest part of my life at the time. But that's the one thing is I watch you, and let me tell you something. I don't know if I can do it if you get more famous than me. Like
I won't. It's okay.
I really
Because
might have
she's a fetus,
issues.
or-
Because she's a female. No.
No, fetus.
I'm
Baby.
I'm sure this show
that
will not
too.
go. It's fine.
How's that going? You can't.
It's great. It's honestly, it's so fun. I love the writers I'm working with. I really like the show we've like developed. I mean, if it doesn't go, it's like the advice you gave me was so great. It was just like, just learn as much as you can, be there through the entire process, and don't expect anything. And that's kind of how I've been doing it. And I have, honestly, stuff is going really well in other areas, like with stand-up and everything, which is the stuff I care about the most. So it's kind of like, if that doesn't work out, that's fine. I won't have to cancel any of these headlining dates I can't believe I got next year, and I'll have time to focus on this thing and whatever. So
It's like a win-win.
it's a win. Yeah. It's a win-win. I'm like grateful they even let me get this far. I really am. It's been such a lovely experience, to the point where I'm like, if this doesn't work out, there's no way any other project will, because this went so smoothly. I kind of can't believe it.
It's that, well, just so you know, a lot of them don't. So like,
That's what they keep
Don't
telling
hang your
me.
hat on it. What's our fucking cat's out. Leanne's gonna be pissed. Oh, she probably let him out. But what's important is, look, television's the fucking whipped cream.
Yes.
Like the podcast, y'all's podcast. I had more fun doing y'all's podcast than I've had doing a podcast in a very long time.
Seriously?
Really?
But,
That's so nice.
But hold on, I like doing this podcast. Like I like doing this with you guys.
Right.
Like I like this. I like this more than the average podcast, because I think you guys all have very different, separate takes on life. But and I also feel like I've been kept in a bubble my whole life. So when I bring things up, I watch you guys like, holy
Ben Bodden over here like, what?
No, but I like that. I love, one of the things I said, it's the reason I followed Lindy West, is I like that you guys you're not doing what was expected of women, I think, 10 years ago, which is cowering to the more successful male comic and going, yeah, that's a good point, Bert. We never saw it that way. You guys are like, and I'm not saying they were doing that 10 years ago, but I'm saying like, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, you guys have legit heels in the ground opinions, and it's like, whatever, I'm fucking drunk now. I enjoy these conversations, and I feel like I learn. Like, I'm old, so I feel like I learn from you guys, and yeah.
You're not old. You're
nice.
3 years younger than my dad.
How's post sober October? I wanted to ask the follow up since the last
Ask me
time.
when I'm the drunkest I've been.
I was like, I want to know.
Going.
I want to know more what you've kept in your life, if you have anything.
I've kept. I haven't been drinking during the weekdays, like at all. Like, so like Monday, Sunday.
Oh, wow.
It's a big one.
Sunday, if I go to the Rams game, I'll drink. That's why I was drinking today.
Right.
Yeah.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I won't drink. I'm going to I have 4 shows. Tuesday, 5 shows. Wednesday, and then
5 shows
Oh my
Wednesday?
God.
I'm getting ready for my special.
Oh, gotcha.
Jeez.
I feel like I'm missing a bit. I feel like I don't have a bit yet.
Huh.
Like, I feel like I miss this special's missing one bit. So
A specific bit, or just
I don't
like
know
you
it
want
yet. I don't
to?
know it yet, but I just want something different. I need one thing different. So I'm working on that. trying to write it, which really sucks because I can get great spots, but they're the coveted spots where you're like going in between D'Elia and Rogan, you don't want to fuck off, but I want to write something new.
Yeah.
So I'm going up and just trying to figure out new stuff so I can find something in there, and then I'm on the road every week until I shoot the special.
Wow.
And then I'm gonna try to do as many spots as possible. I was gonna say to you guys, we should do an open mic podcast where we get your equipment and we all four go out and do 4 open mics. And
That would be fun.
and just in LA, like start like 8 a.m. We'll hit up the haha first.
Yeah.
Like go see if Jack will get us up.
Yeah.
Get us all up, and then we'll go hit like somewhere downtown, somewhere, you know.
That would be
really
blast.
fun. Let's do it.
Yeah.
It'd be fun, and then I think it'll be a blast.
I'm
Yeah,
down.
I'm down.
So tour dates.
Ours? Plug 'em?
Yeah, plug tour dates.
Okay, cool. When is this coming out?
Yeah. Who fucking knows?
That's the thing. Well,
This month coming out?
Do you have stuff?
It's not Tuesday, but it could be the following Tuesday or the one after that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, just in case, the 21st through the 23rd, I'm headlining Helium in St. Louis. 28th through the 30th, I'm headlining Hilarities in Cleveland. January 5th and 6th, I'm at Wise
You're
Guys.
definitely a brand new headliner.
Why?
A little more enthusiasm.
Ready? Okay. Yeah. Is that enough pep for you?
Jesus
you want me to
Christ.
smile while I do it?
Jesus Christ. You're running through your dates like you regret them.
I'm sorry, it should be said I'm sick right now. I'm doing Rooster Teas in January, the 11th through the 13th.
This is let me show you how it's done.
Okay.
Oh, someone will walk. Have you guys seen Dark on Netflix?
No. Dark?
What is it?
That's my only impression I can do. It's Scotty J and Boogie Nights when he sees Dirk Diggler's dick.
That's how I respond when I see most.
Spokane Comedy Club. I'm going to be there the 14th through the 16th. I've already done that.
You know
date.
that's my hometown.
For real?
Remember I texted you like the brunch
yeah,
spots and
that's
stuff?
right.
Spokane is the shit.
Am I saying it wrong?
Spokane, yeah.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Listen,
I'm
big push, West Palm Beach. I think this New Year's Eve. Stress Factory in January, Tacoma Comedy Club, Helium Portland in January, The Wilbur, second show added. When this comes out, that show will be sold out as well. So you got to say stuff like that.
I gotta
say stuff
do
like
it.
that.
Okay, all
Yeah,
right.
here, give me your tour dates.
Okay.
Watch, I'll show you how it's done.
Okay, thank you.
Here, wait, give me Kelsey's.
Yeah, do Kelsey's, 'cause I already said
I'll give
mine.
you Kelsey's.
There's you can do just go
Oh,
there
you're a
there.
fucking asshole.
What?
I hate this calendar.
Oh.
Ontario Improv, 15th through the 7th. 15th?
14th through the 17th.
You have lunch with Nikki.
Don't read my other calendar things. Just read the shows, you fucking weirdo.
The 14th to the 17th. Tacoma. You're at Tacoma on the 21st? I'm there in January.
Oh, I'll just be missing you. Yeah, Tacoma's like my other home club.
It's
All the
right
Washington.
outside. She'll be flying home on the 28th.
Don't. You got all your shit.
She's got to pay her internet bill on the 29th.
You pulled up your personal calendar? I pulled up my website.
It's all the
Is that
same.
how much your rent is?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And we split that.
For real?
Yeah.
But so you play half of that?
I pay half that.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
I know. That's the valley that you.
Mom
yeah.
just texted, thanks, love you.
So embarrassing.
was
Stop.
horrible.
I regret it. Give me my phone back. I'm getting anxiety. I don't.
Oh, sorry. If I broke it, I'll pay for it. If I broke it, I'll pay for it. If I broke it, I'll pay for it.
Oh, we're good.
You're fine. I'm like getting anxiety. I don't like this. Do you have listeners in Paris, France? In France?
I don't know. I'm sure I do. Yeah.
I'm trying to. So this is in February, but I'm trying to plug this now because I have no idea what to expect. But I'm headlining Le Théâtre de l'Oeuvre in Paris on February 26th. So, Bertcast people, if you live in Paris,
Whoa, this
please
is a great challenge.
come. Please
So I
come.
can bring this up at the beginning of the podcast.
See how many
Yeah.
Paris.
Challenge?
Paris
Yeah. Oh yeah. See if people come. I would appreciate it because I think right now the people that are going to be there are mostly just Parisian, like primarily French speakers.
Okay.
It's being billed as an American show, but
Who booked it?
so Gad Elmaleh helped start it, and like he and Jerry Seinfeld did it together a couple months ago. It's like a monthly thing, and supposedly the crowds are very, very nice and they're just like supportive, but I'm trying to get the word out just to try and cushion it a little bit because I don't know what to expect.
God, so now.
Yeah.
All right.
Beautiful.
Hey, do me a favor, guys.
Oh God.
Let's just make it interesting.
Oh.
Like, how do we make it interesting? Like, how do we make it fun?
Should we plug our
Bertcast
podcast
t-shirt.
and see what that does?
Oh yeah, please.
Yeah.
That's like please listen to Self-Helpless podcast.
And then message us
Because we've
if
had
you
Bert
heard
on
about
as
it
well.
here.
Yeah.
You did. Yeah, you got it.
For Sober October we had.
Yeah, people loved your episode.
People really
Yeah.
liked it.
Yeah.
They liked hearing about it.
Look at you. Yeah, I know they did.
No. I didn't. I don't. When did we do that? Did we do that right when I quit drinking?
Yeah,
So about halfway through
in the middle.
October.
Yeah, it was the middle
Okay.
of October.
Oh, I'd like to listen to that now and maybe get some inspiration. So Kelsey, let's do a thing. So, hey guys, if you're in Paris, France, what I'd like you to do, I'm trying to think of something fun that'll make it interactive. Like I was thinking, wear a beret to the show.
God.
Wear a beret to
But
the
like,
show.
what if everybody there is wearing
Just
a beret?
no.
French.
Bring a beret to the show, and then when Kelsey gets on stage, just slowly put your beret on, and just make her. Just be like, okay, we started.
Oh my God.
I love it.
Just,
I hope I can see the people. Sometimes it's too dark, but maybe if I can
Throw
see
your
people.
beret in the air.
Yeah, like it's a graduation.
Oh, that would be so funny. Like, I don't know if I have any. I have some listeners in France, I'm sure, but not a ton. England is big. You should hit up England while you're on your way.
I've been told that. Yeah, that there's some good places.
There's a
there.
great club I did that seats like 90 people.
Okay.
And it's amazing. And you could sell it out. You could definitely sell it out through this podcast.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, hit that up.
Okay.
No tour dates?
I'm taking December off, but you can check Delanie
I
Fischer.
fucking hate you right now. I would love to take a month off.
It's been kind of agonizing, but it's been also very good. I'm in a very weird relationship with stand-up. But you can go to
I thought you were gonna say it
DelanieFischer.com.
with my boyfriend.
I know.
Aces.
My boyfriend's great. But DelanieFischer.com for January and February dates that I do have in the books. But I would like to plug a movie that I wrote that's coming out on the Lifetime Movie Network.
Are you serious?
Yeah, in winter. I can't say the name yet, but if you follow me on social media, I'll blast it when I'm allowed to. But I would like to plug that. That's my new thing. That's my next project.
Write the name of the movie on a piece of paper so I can know the name of the
Oh, yeah,
movie.
I will. Right now? You want to read it?
Yeah.
But I mean,
I want to see how stupid
if you've
it
ever
is.
seen a Lifetime movie, you know they're very much.
Why can't you talk about the name of it?
They haven't released it yet publicly, so
Okay.
I'm not allowed to. I signed an NDA, but you can see it, Bert. There it is.
Isn't that
I
great?
like that. I like
sounds
it. I like
Very
it.
Lifetime.
It draws you in.
Very
for sure.
Lifetime.
Lifetime.
You guessed it. You know exactly what it's about. Everybody dies.
But everyone's in love and it's
Yeah,
a secret.
no, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Also,
That's really
I
cool.
have a
It's
small
so
business
awesome.
that I want to plug, if that's
Very
okay.
cool.
So what?
I have a very small business. It's called Dick's by Delanie. It's an Etsy store, and I draw penises on coffee mugs, and I sell them for money.
But you always have to clarify. It's not like it's not just
It's
a
not a
dick.
graphic
it's like
dick. It's a
Harry
character.
Potter.
It's a character.
Morphed into the shape of a penis. It's
called Harry
like
Peter.
A person.
Wait, do you have a picture of one I can see?
I
Yeah,
do.
absolutely. Pull it
On
up.
my phone, I can pull them up.
Yeah, go pull it up.
Right now?
Yeah.
You want to see?
Yeah, of course.
I could pull it up.
Obviously.
Yeah. My boyfriend told me to tell you before
You have a
I almost
boyfriend?
forgot. I do, yeah. Sorry.
When did this
I
happen?
don't know why I'm apologizing.
learning
like
so
a few
much.
months ago. Why are you so surprised? That's such a bummer, man. Why?
Well, no,
You
I
have a
thought we'd
boyfriend,
talk
right?
about that.
Oh, no.
I mean, I thought I'd get a green light on this. I thought I could help you pick the one that I like too.
Oh, do you want? Well, I can do a bachelor situation where you come in
No.
and just pick. No, but he told me, he's like, make sure you mention. He's like, he stayed at an Airbnb in Phoenix, and the guy that his place he was staying at was like a big fan of yours, I guess. And he found out because my boyfriend's a comedian too, and he found
who's
out
your
he was a
boyfriend?
comedian. I'll tell you off the podcast. I don't know if he wants me to say it on it, but yeah, he
Yeah,
wouldn't
no
care.
one wants any press.
No, he wouldn't care. He probably wouldn't care, but I don't know.
Call him right now. Call him right now. No,
I don't
hold
want
on.
to call him right
Hold
now.
on. Call him right now.
I can't call
Hold
him
on.
right now.
Call him right now and go, hey, I'm on Bert's podcast. Is it okay if I say your name?
I don't.
Oh my God,
can
that's
text
so
him. Text
fucking
him.
funny.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll
I
text
think
him.
you should do it.
Yeah.
Do I know him?
I
Do it. Put it out in the
think
world.
so.
Yeah, own
Let
it,
the
baby.
world bask in your
own
love.
it.
Yeah, let me see.
I hope I like him.
I don't know if you
He's
know.
very funny and
he's
very nice and very
funny.
cool. Really
By
great
the way,
guy.
can I tell you the list of comics going through my head that I hope it's not?
I don't. Oh yes, please do. I wonder who you think I would date.
Well, I'm hoping I don't know him.
Oh my god.
I don't think you do. Who don't you want to?
I don't know anybody. I don't know anybody.
I mean, he's like at my level. It's his name's Connor McSpadden.
Oh, you already said his name.
Yeah, you told me to.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I
we were
didn't.
gonna call
I
him
just
and
asked him. I just texted him and asked him, and he
What'd
said
he say?
sure. Yeah.
I love it.
Connor McSpadden.
Yeah.
I've been saying
I'll be
McSpadden.
watching all his videos tonight.
Should. I'll just put
He's
this
very
here
funny.
If you want to look at
Yeah,
my,
yeah.
if you want to
Oh,
look
but
at my
he was telling me
dicks,
that he
Bert.
stayed in an Airbnb that the guy was like a big fan of yours, and he just like burst in to tell him the machine story. When he was like,
What is this?
So
These
they're
are
dicks, but they're characters. Like I have a Dickie Parton, and the testicles are her tits. You know. Anyway,
This
so
is-
I
Wait, you draw these?
I draw those. It's all original art, and I sell them. And I'm starting to donate 20% of proceeds to youth art programs for underserved
Oh,
youth.
don't do this. Just keep the
Gonna
money.
do it. I was for about a year and a half.
Don't donate.
But now
Please
I
don't
want to
donate.
give back.
No, but why? But make a living first. Get rich first, and then donate.
And then give back?
Yeah, like-
what if I
like-
never get rich?
No, but I think you're gonna. I'm so frustrated with all the comics that are like, I'm in Houston, I'm gonna give 20% of my proceeds, and I'm like, no, I get that, but like, yeah, you can all. There are also people living in Houston just making a living.
Yeah,
like you can
that's
also
true.
make. There's nothing wrong with making a living. These are really fucking great.
yeah, aren't
Thank
they
you.
cool?
I'll make you one next time I see you.
No, I want one now. Like I want one now. Wait, can
I should have brought one.
Can you make one
You can make a custom one if you want.
for real?
Yeah, you can just tell me like who you want to be a penis, and I'll make it for you. I've done
I
that for
would
several
like
people.
2.
Okay.
I want one of me. I want 4. I'll pay for all of them.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
I want one of me, Segura, Ari, and Joe.
Oh,
Yes.
fantastic!
Oh my
you got
God.
it. You got it. I will
That's
absolutely
so
do that.
perfect.
And the next
I will
time
do
I'm gonna,
that.
I do Rogan, I'll bring those in and we'll drink whiskey out of them.
Oh, perfect! I will absolutely
I
give
want
those to you.
4. I want 4.
You got it.
But do not fucking skimp on Rogan's because you know he's Rogan. Like fucking go hard in the paint on Rogan. Go as hard as you would on me on Rogan, and definitely with Segura. Don't go. Oh, I fucking really like their specials.
Oh
fucking
my
really
God.
tear them. I want to
my
see
God.
big
See
dicks.
what kind of dicks they are.
Yeah,
we'll
yeah,
see.
yeah.
Some
Dicks-
might be chode, some might
And
be
if you
pencil
can make
dicks.
Ari
we don't
look
know.
super Jewish, I would really appreciate it.
Oh my god.
Like almost like you ever seen the hook nosed Jew that they have in like racist caricatures?
Doing the villain fingers. That makes me uncomfortable.
Oh my god!
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Oh.
you got it. So you want
Me,
Rogan, Ari,
Rogan, Ari,
That's so
and then
rough.
do me a favor.
Yeah.
Post whenever you can get them done. That'd be great.
Sure.
I think we're gonna try to do this roller skate marathon. I think when Tom's special comes out, I think we're gonna try to do it January 12th. Around then, maybe, or maybe right after then, once the special comes out. But if you can get them, then if you can just post a picture of all 4 of them,
Yeah.
then I know I'll make sure that Joe retweets it, Ari retweets it, and Tom retweets it.
That's awesome.
I'm,
Thank you.
Awesome.
I'm
Super
sure
cool.
Joe will, but yeah, that would be really cool.
Awesome. Yeah, I would love to.
And then that'll
Got
help.
it.
But then stop giving 20%.
I haven't started yet. I wanted to start in 2018.
Don't. That's something people say. It drives me nuts. It's something people say when they want to help their business. They're like, I want to grow. I want you to like me.
Yeah.
But just don't. No,
I
by
feel
the
so
way,
bad.
donate to the kids' arts if you want to donate to the kids' arts. But don't make her donate with your money.
Yeah.
Like, just buy her shit. It's really great. Those are really
Thank
great
you.
mugs.
I appreciate it.
Those
Thank
are
you.
really great fucking mugs.
Thank you. I wanted to donate just because I was involved in a program recently that I loved, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, they could use some more money to like spread this to other
Just
kids.
donate
but-
cash then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, just donate.
Yeah.
Donate on your. Definitely earn the money first.
Yeah.
Earn the money. Pay your rent. Make sure you're covered, and then when you have extra cash,
Yeah.
donate. I think
Yeah.
that's probably a horrible
All
thing.
right, I take it back. Fuck the kids. Forget it.
Am I a bad person for saying that? Am I a bad person for saying that? But like,
No, I get
I
it.
think that's-
I
Part
get
of
where
me
you're
wants
coming
to
from
keep
that
it.
You're like, make sure that you're okay first.
you
Before
gotta earn a living.
but-
You gotta
I
earn a
do.
living.
I make a significant amount on those, even if I donated.
It's your business. I'm so sorry that I started this. I see so many comics going into like Houston in particularly and say, I'm going to donate 20% of my proceeds to the victims fund. And then I go, I think you're using that to sell tickets. Like, I think you're trying to sell tickets with that.
I kind of tend to think that too sometimes.
Sure.
And I go, just do the show. Right. And if you want to donate, just donate.
You can without saying
just donate.
anything.
You don't have to tell anyone. Like today I was about to say it, but like, just donate if you want to donate. Like, I give money. I just don't tell everyone about it.
Sure. Oh, totally.
Yeah, but make your money. Those are really great mugs, and you should make money off them.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel like that's the only way I can donate if I like make money doing something, because I don't make enough right now to donate like a significant amount. So I feel like that's helpful.
Yeah,
you know, it's money I wouldn't have otherwise. But
but those are great mugs. I would love to see those for.
You got it.
That would be so good.
And by the way, I would like to commission more than that. I would like to commission a set of like I want to do a series of Tommy Skates ones. Of Tom and Skates.
Little roller skates on the ball.
Bertle the turtle. Because I know for a fact my fans would buy that in a heartbeat.
Okay.
I know for a fact.
Sure.
Delaney.
I'll do it.
Delaney,
you might be able to become like full-time dick mugs.
That would be a dream.
Oh my gosh.
My dream is to draw dicks on mugs. I mean, that has been a dream since I was a youth.
So and can people commission these from you? Like, you go, hey, can I get one of these?
Absolutely, yeah.
So if you want a Bertle the Turtle or Tommy Skates mug, what's the website?
Dicks by Delanie. It's an Etsy shop.
Dicks by Delanie. It's an Etsy shop. I don't know what that means.
Store. It's a store on Etsy. Or you can go to DelanieFischer.com and go to my merch.
Go to DelanieFischer.com.
Yeah. You go to my
and then
merch.
get one. And then I promise you, if you buy one of these mugs, I will retweet it. I will repost it. I will share it on
that's
Instagram.
Amazing.
You know for a fact, me, Tom, Ari, and Joe will all fucking love to see these Tommy Skates, and but make everyone individualistic. Like really go artsy on them.
Okay, well, I'm gonna need if you have photos of like them wearing certain outfits that you want me to like recreate,
that are particularly
like them.
Dickish.
That is helpful too. Or also just to like creep on all their social media and find some good stuff.
I think we have to creep on their social media. So we're gonna plan a self-helplessness when we're all doing open.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Self-Helpless podcast.
Yeah.
We're all doing open mics.
Would love that.
That'd be fun.
We still have the one where we want to get Taylor drunk.
I don't know if I can get drunk. I would get high.
We're gonna get her high.
I don't think I can drink because I really do think I will have a problem if I start drinking.
Oh, then I don't want to do that. I don't want to.
Yeah, that won't be fun. It would be fun if it was like, the only person I ever got drunk with was Bert Kreischer, but I don't think it will go that way. I think 20 years from now I'll be sitting in a damp basement going, if I had only been
never met Bert.
Stronger.
For real, you really think she'd turn into that?
I don't know Taylor's history that much, but from what she said, like it
runs in my family.
Yeah.
I got an addictive personality. It's one of those things where I think I'd self-medicate. I've told you before, the only time I want to drink is when I'm sad on the road in a hotel room and I want to feel different.
And I was like, that's the worst time to drink.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm never like, I want to go out and drink with people. I'm like, alcohol would probably make this situation easier. Like that's the mind of an addict, and I've never drank.
That's the worst time to drink.
I know. That's why I'm trying to be careful.
I was so high at the game today, I fell asleep in the third quarter.
Oh my god!
In a stadium full of people.
Oh my god!
I had this great vape pen, and I just hit it, and I was like.
Yeah, we think that we'd love to do this again, and maybe.
I don't, but I'm not the big weed guy. Like, I'll tell you what. I will organize the best weed adventure for us all.
Ooh, that sounds great.
Yeah. We'll get Benson in here.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
yes.
But Doug will probably. I'm sure Doug. Maybe Doug. I don't know. I'll talk to Doug. About it. But ladies, I had a great time. I really had a great time. I could talk to you guys forever. I really could talk. How many hours did we do?
About 3.
Oh my gosh.
Perfect. That's perfect.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah. I love you guys. I'm glad that this happened. Yeah, I'm so fucking buzzed.
Good.
Can you tell?
I can, yeah.
For real?
Yeah,
I can't tell.
You keep saying it.
I cannot tell.
No, but you know because you know me, but you guys are like, no, you seem normal. Yeah. I can't wait to get these mugs. I'm so fucking excited.
Yeah.
All right, check out their podcast, Self-Helpless. Mm-hmm. We're doing a open mic run probably this month or next month.
That'd be fun.
God bless America. God bless America.
Yay.